Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing Kanicki's answer me with my co-host Jack. Jack, how are you keeping, man?
David, it's going quite well, to be honest. I was a bit nervous, once that goal went in, but, honestly, it's good to see a win today. It's good to just relax, just see maybe even Bergwijn have a bit of the silky touches. I'm a bit excited.
Yeah, 100%. And we're also joined by special guests, Danny and Bob. I will ask them how they are in just 1 second. I just want to apologise for being late, guys. I was stuck with We Are Tottenham TV doing a quick pre-recording with them. So I do apologise about being a bit late, but we already have 88 people off the bat watching, which is insane. But look, Bob, how are you keeping, man?
Yeah, good, mate. Good performance. Nice to see Bergwijn showing a bit of a glimpse of what is possible. Got my trousers on, which is always a good sign. So, yeah, ready to go, mate.
100%. And Danny, my man, how are you, bud?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. Been a busy day at work. It's been a good day. Been working from home, so I've been productive, man. And then you get to watch a game and a good performance from some good players today. Especially for me, Skipp, man. He's going to be a class player, man. Yeah. He's going to be a class player. Watching that how a midfielder should be how a midfielder should be a midfielder, doing the things that they should be doing, not like certain players in our team.
Yeah. 100%. Couldn't agree more. Well, look, let's welcome a bit of Harris Army in as well. We have Mark Swift. We have Richard Bennett. We have RTB, Tom R. How are you all keeping? We have Starsky, Saya Bango, Clement, Dan N. I hope you're keeping well. Eric Lassard, THFC Kirst. Big up, Kirst. John Fitzpatrick, big yourself up, representing the Irish out in Australia. We have Shamu as well. Absolute legend. Unlimited digital lifestyle is in the building. Tot 943 as well. Tony Hall, JC.
Big up, Tony.
Big up, Tony.
Fen from Everything Football. Catman Jess. Aussie Tots. Golden Cock. Dermot Miles is here. Big up, Dermot Miles. I hope you're keeping well, my man. We've got Bradley Coombs, man. No, you can take it easy for winding him up. He's not here today, Bradley.
Calm down, Coombs.
We have Zoe. Yeah, we're going to nickname him Calm Down Coombs. That's what we're going to nickname him. Big up, Bradley.
I like
we have Shinks, Baxter Nagumi, Baxter Nagumi, Josh Seven, Hot God, Carl Simpson's in the building.
Big up, Carl.
Jeez, there's loads of them. They're all out today. They're all out in force. Russell Brooks, James Carroll. Jeez, we've a load of them. The Chemist is in. William McKenzie, I hope you're keeping well. Shamu's New Zealand there. James Carroll as well is in. We have Mr. Clement, we already gave him a shout out. Stuart. Jeez, we've loads of them. Robin Kumar is here. Danny Kiriakou wants a shout out again. Stackademics is in. Ishak as well.
Yes,
Brian C.
Wednesday.
David.
Big up.
Sorry?
Brian C. I was going to say Brian C. is in the building. I was going to click on his, David.
Big up Brian C.
In the building. Let me do it for you, David. Yeah, Brian C. is in the building. Good to see Brian C. Hope he's keeping well. Hope he's keeping very well, David. Tin Man 007, David. I'm not sure if you saw him. Tin Man 007's in the building. Good to see Tin Man as always. William McKenzie, David. William McKenzie's in the building. Good to see William McKenzie, and always Chris is there. Chris. He is. I was looking for him. There's Chris. Good to see you,
Cuba 99 as well.
Oh, sorry, David. Yeah, you take that one.
No, Cuba 99 as well.
Yeah. Cuba 99.
And we have Lazy as well. My man Nick. I hope he's well. Absolute brilliant experience on the fan show.
Everybody
Anthony Gray.
Everybody loved
hope you're keeping well. Look, too many. We've too many. Gary O'Neill as well. Hope you're keeping well. Loads of people in here, guys. Look, make sure you have already smashed the like button. If you're new, make sure you do smash the subscribe button. We are pushing forward this season. Great content coming out. We're growing and growing by the day. So keep smashing that subscribe button as well, lads. Don't be afraid to get your super chats in. It really does help support the channel. You know, when the chat is flying, it guarantees that your questions or your comments are read out to the panel and we sit there and discuss them. And like I said, it's a great way to show us a bit of support. Look, as always, we know there are people in the world that aren't in a position to do it. So don't worry, we will do our best to get everybody's comment up on screen anyway so that it's visible. But look, a quick shout out to the uncle as well, Bobby. Hi, David. I'm still Ireland's #1 Spurs fan. No, you're not, Bobby. I took that mantle as soon as I was born, my man. As soon as I was born, I came along and I took that. You know, but look, Jack, let's waste no time. Let's get into this.
Absolutely, David. And to guys, we're just going to start, with a couple of questions about the game that we just watched. And, maybe we just have to start with that guy that maybe Danny just mentioned earlier, Skippy. I mean, what a player. But maybe we have to think about it this way, where Skippy was playing so well in almost that facilitator kind of role, almost that kind of a, kind of tempo setter, that dictator kind of role in the middle of the park, where he was able to kind of facilitate everything, almost like Michael Carrick maybe back in the day, maybe what Henderson has done, back in the day for Liverpool. Do you maybe see, Nuno maybe playing Skippy alongside Højbjerg and maybe allowing Højbjerg to get a bit further forward, considering how good, Skippy played in the center of the park today? I'm going to start with maybe Danny here, since he, maybe. Oh, sorry, Danny.
No, don't start with Danny. Start with me, lad. I'll take that. Danny, you can do what you need to do. Look, with Skippy, absolute brilliant performance. Anyone, Harry Winks, they should be sitting down Harry Winks and showing him the video of Skipp's performance today. His passing range. Not only that, though, Jack, he gets stuck in. He takes the ball. He's not afraid to run forward with it. Absolutely brilliant performance. That pass out to Lucas, that little lofted ball over the top like he done a couple of weeks last week with the ball to Bergwijn over the other side. Absolutely brilliant. What sets him different from Harry Winks is he's always getting the ball on the half turn. He's always looking to play it forward. If he can't play it forward, he may play sideways, but he plays a lofted pass over the player trying to press him, to the fullback, which gets us out and gets us attacking down that side. Absolutely brilliant by Skipp. I love the way he gets stuck in when we don't have the ball. He's helping Lucas, he's helping Son, he's helping Bergwijn, and he's helping Dele Alli press to try and get it back as well, which is absolutely brilliant. And like I said, he has the unique ability to be able to get up someone's hole and take the ball off them without giving away a free kick, which I absolutely love. So for me, I have to say, but when you do play Skipp in this role, like how Michael Carrick used to do for Tottenham, keeping the ball, keeping possession, right? It allows you to play a Højbjerg further forward, like we've seen in the Euros. So that solves that problem. Everyone was saying, how can we get Højbjerg to get him to play further forward like he was in the Euros? He was so good for Denmark. That's how you do it. You play Skipp there in that role he was playing today. Put Højbjerg in there to the right of him. That place where Dele Alli played today or left, although Dele Alli was actually good and had a lot of work rate. For me, that position's still up for grabs. Even with Ndombele and Lo Celso could come back in. So, look, with Højbjerg, that solves the Højbjerg issue. You can allow him to go further forward, which means he can help with the press as well, going further forward, turn the ball over higher, which he done against United in that 6-1, and we got a couple of goals off it. So all around, Skipp has come in and done the improvement like I thought he was going to do. He's exposing Harry Winks for what he is, and I'm absolutely delighted. And you can't ask for more from the guy. You really can't. This guy is an absolute baller and gets stuck in. And there's no excuse for Harry Winks, right? He doesn't get stuck in, doesn't like to get tackled, doesn't like to tackle. Skipp is smaller than Harry Winks, but he's blocky, but he likes to get stuck in as well, which I absolutely love. And he's not afraid to take a challenge either. Absolutely brilliant all around from Ollie Skipp, I have to say.
Yeah, David, honestly, I think you're spot on there. And then as well, I think maybe even mentioning, Højbjerg's kind of brilliance, alongside another very kind of similar workman horse kind of midfielder, in the Euros actually showed a bit of Højbjerg's kind of, creativity that we didn't think maybe was there. A lot of our fans didn't really think was there. We kind of thought Højbjerg was just kind of a destroyer kind of midfielder, but no, in the Euros, he proved to be creative, and maybe with Skipp alongside him, just could be unbelievable, that comparison and kind of those players next to each other, complementing each other. But with Tin Man 007 here, thank you very much, Tin Man. It's also really good to see you as well. Maybe I've missed you in the chat as well, but I feel like I haven't seen him in a while. So it's good to see Tin Man. And he says, and he's very generous, David. And he says, for us to challenge again for top 4, I think we need a right back on number 10 and 2 strong center backs. What do you guys think? I think you actually could be spot on there, Tin Man. To be honest, I might be a bit spoiled here. I might even toss in a center mid as well if we're able to move on Winks and Sissoko.
I'd say another striker as well.
Winks and Sissoko maybe moving on. We might need to fill in some stuff in the center of the park, but I think, Tin Man, this is the most realistic approach about it. And to be honest, we need the 2 center backs, especially now that Toby is gone. We absolutely are more desperate for the 2 center backs than ever, and we need 2 strong ones that can compete and maybe be a good influence on Rodon and Tanganga as well. So you're spot on there. Maybe Hill is the number 10. Maybe he's supposed to be the number 10 that we signed. And then with the right back, we're yet to do that. So, I really do hope so, Tin Man. But really big up yourself for the super chat.
Just quickly on this, look, Tin Man, I actually believe if we get 1, definitely 2 centre backs, and a right back, I believe we will push top 4. You look what he's using Sonny, the way he's using Sonny now. He's preparing not to have Kane for City and maybe the first 2 opening games of the season, 100%. Right? So if Kane does get injured, Sonny will be the backup striker, which then makes a place for Bergwijn out on the left. So I don't think we will actually sign another striker. I don't believe we will. Might get in another centre midfield. Even then, I don't think you have to with Skipp emerging. You have Niall John, who will happily sit there and play as the fifth midfielder and accept what game time is given to him. And a number 10, I'm not sure, because I do think we could be playing more of a 3 midfield with Skipp holding Højbjerg one side and Dele Alli or whoever, and Ndombele.
We have plenty of number 10s.
The other side. So I'm not sure if we do need a number 10. But look, Bryan Gil can definitely do that. He can definitely be like what Luka Modric used to be to us. So very interesting, Tim, man. Well, big yourself up and thank you so much for the super chat, my man. I really appreciate it. Everybody else, keep getting them in.
Can I just add to that as well, right? I think the only thing I worry about, if they don't get another striker, is that when you're playing a certain teams like big, tall teams, where you need to have a good aerial threat, not just because Son's not an aerial player. He doesn't score many headers, right? He's not the greatest in the air. But it's when he gets the ball played to his feet. And if we're struggling to break down teams, if say Kane's not playing or say he's not there, for example, or is injured or whatever, and Son's the only striker we've got, we'll struggle to break down like the Burnleys and teams like that, or who like those kind of teams who really just sit back and just like defend and who are just resilient, because that's when you need someone who can put a ball into the box and someone needs to get on the end of it. And that's where I think we needed another type of striker, like another kind of tall striker. I think if Son's going to be the other alternate, we're going to need someone. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Guys. Yeah, and then moving on, maybe to Bob. I mean, what do you make of this? Maybe with Skippy maybe having such a fantastic day today. Obviously, maybe we might need to relax in that it was MK Dons, but to be honest, he was maybe causing some things to happen in our pants today. He was that brilliant. We do kind of things, we do kind of relate him to Winksy as well, and we kind of do just have to make that comparison and see how much more brilliant he is in comparison. Do you think maybe he could actually complement Højbjerg in the way that David was saying?
Yeah, I think you got in Skipp is fearless, but secondly, he just looks intelligent. We were all crying out last season for Ndombele, Højbjerg, and a Celso middle three. It just didn't work out. Maybe for form, maybe because of lack of fitness. It just didn't work out. Whereas I don't think we'll have that problem with Højbjerg and Skipp. They're both intelligent. If Højbjerg does go forward, I think Skipp's got the intelligence to stay back and vice versa. So it is a good partnership in the making. Obviously, what how the perform on the pitch will tell, but I've got more confidence this working out, and certainly it just looked a bit messy last season with the 3 in the middle, which we all wanted. But with Højbjerg and the formation, if we do go with the back 3 and the 2 in the pivot, I think Højbjerg and Skipp could be absolutely brilliant because they're both intelligent players, both fearless, and I think today's performance was probably the final nail in Winks' coffin. I really do believe that. I think there's absolutely no way, and I mean that, there's probably no way of Winks coming back into first team consideration with the Winks. Yes, it's MK Dons, but I'm glad it was a competitive challenge today. So Winks, with Skipp, it was just another great, good performance, and he hardly gave the ball away. I don't think he ever got the ball away, but it's closing down.
No, he did. He gave it away once. I was disappointed with him.
Yeah.
He done a Harry Winks move. I was pissed off.
Yeah. But his closing down was very prominent, and obviously created a chance from that, which
he's confident.
So
he won the ball back more times than he lost it, for sure. Yeah.
Fearless. He doesn't look like a youngster who's just come from the Championship. After
but he was one of the best players in that league. Exactly, he was one of the best standout players in that league.
Exactly.
And that tells us a lot. Yeah, he helped them. If it wasn't for him, it helped them win the championship, and they dominated the championship. Not him just winning, they dominated.
We're crying out for him. It's time for him.
Definitely.
It's like having 2 Højbjergs. It's basically going to be like having 2 Højbjergs for me. And I said it from the moment I saw Skipp starting to perform at Norwich. I think
the biggest compliment, Jack, I don't know if you agree with me, but he does remind me of a Kante. He does, honestly. The way he runs across the pitch, box to box, the closing down, the passing, the crisp passing, he does remind me of of a Kante, an English Kante. So, my bet on him making the World Cup squad in the summer is looking good, because I really do believe
plays
that.
like Kante and moves like Carrick. That's what you
that's
want.
It.
Ollie
That's
Skip,
it, mate.
there you go.
You
Plays
got
like
it. You got
Kante
it,
and moves like Carrick. That's his
love
song.
that.
They make a
that,
sound
guys.
from. But look, before we get
Skippy would
Danny's
be honored
opinion,
to hear this.
yeah.
Skippy would be honored to hear this. But Paul Markey here with a very generous super chat. And Paul Markey, it's also really good to see. I'm not sure if we saw him in the chat earlier, David. So it's good to see Paul Markey joining us. And Paul says, the only place for Bergwijn is top of the transfer list. He's a headless chicken. Yeah, to be honest, here's the thing with Paul. He looked a little silkier today. Maybe that's just because he was wearing the short socks, and I'm a bit of a sucker for that. He's trying to win me over probably by doing that. But the finishing was just appalling. The finishing was just atrocious. It was embarrassing. You would think, Paul, with how much he's being paid, he would be brave enough to just swing his peg at it. But he honestly seems like he needs to speak to a therapist when it comes to, approaching a football net, because he doesn't know what he's doing near it. I honestly think his eyes start blurring up the moment he gets close to the football net. It's really that scary. Really, the moment he gets close to the goal, it's really scary. He might be actually having, some type of marital relations, problems with it, David. It's really that troubling. He doesn't even want to speak to it. It looks like the goal, so look, I'm concerned.
With Bergwijn, look, it's much more of what we seen last season. No end product. What more can you say? Look, good, played a good game, but again, shits himself when he comes to front of goal. Times I felt like he was looking around to Nuno asking for a spare change of jocks. Because look, he can't like that. He was clean through. He tried to chip the keeper. He's not confident as is in front of goal. We already seen him square one last week to Sonny, when he probably should have took the goal himself. So he has to do better in front of goal. But big up Paul Markey. Really do appreciate the support for the channel, my brother.
Big up, Paul. Really appreciate it, Paul. And it's also really good to see you as well. Lazy 8, big up, Nick. Really good. Really, Nick. I hope you're doing well today as well, brother. And he says, 3-part question. What the hell turned Lucas into Pirlo? Would you start Lucas against City after the last 3 matches? And who starts against City if not Kane? If no Kane. So maybe the first one there. What the hell turned Lucas into Pirlo? I don't know what the hell turned him into Pirlo in terms of his vision and that, intelligence and creativity. But it seems like Nick, every time he seems to cut inside with his right foot, he seems to be able, with the outside of his foot, with his left foot, seems to be able to play a beautiful pass every time through the lines, on the floor, on the carpet, and just play it through every time. He seems to be so silky with that. Seems to be second nature to him. And maybe no manager before has ever seen that in him. Who knows, Nick? But I'm going to move on to your next question here. And would I start Lucas against City? I mean, I think you have to, at least because also he's one of those guys that is going to probably run his heart out in the first match. He is going to be one that's going to set an example for the players. Even if he doesn't, let's say, have his best game, he's at least going to show the players what it's like in terms of the effort against teams like that. He's going to set an example. So personally, I would start him. That's just me. And then after these last 3 matches, of course, I think as well, because seeing that creativity that he's shown. But then maybe I might ask someone on the panel here, if who starts against City, if not Kane. Yeah, David.
Yeah, look, I just wanted to say with Lucas Moura, he's going to have a massive part to play this season. You can see already he's moved him in. He may start on the right, but he comes in centrally a lot. He picks up the ball. He looks to cut inside a lot, which is helping him. It's making him very hard to mark. He wins us a lot of free kicks, which is going to be crucial. It means he can relieve the pressure, gets up the field. But when he's cutting inside, the ball's coming to him. It's on his right foot, and it's just a simple slide rule pass, something that maybe Nuno has been working on him, is when that ball does come in, to have that vision, to be able to pass it first time. You don't always have to try and get on the ball and beat somebody. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to stand still, let the player move around you and play that killer pass. And he's got that to his game. And for me, I'm not going to get too much into it because I know there's a question, but he's going to have a massive part to play. And he's a massive part of the press with Tottenham as well. So big up, Lazy. I really do appreciate that, Jack. We've 2 more super chats.
Yeah, but then he says, who starts against City if no Kane? I would say if there's no Kane available.
It has to be.
If there's no Kane available, then it's probably going to be Son up top. I spoke to David today. He could maybe play the Werner role that maybe Chelsea has. Maybe we could just put Son up top and then look for a striker. Maybe when the transfer market settles a little bit, because we probably don't want to be buying, splashing too much cash on a striker last minute. But really appreciate the super chat, Nick. And also, I hope you're doing well today. It's good to see that the heat wave just ended. for us today in the Borough. So it's good to see.
Can I just add something before this super chat, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it now on Lucas Moura. I genuinely think we're gonna see the best season we've ever seen from him this season.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier.
I'm calling this now. I genuinely think, because if you look at the way he played at the end of last season before Mason fucking just left him out because he's an idiot and wanted to play Harry Winks, of course, right? So for me, he was one of our best players until Mason came in, and I think he's kind of taken off from that. He's kind of following on from how he was playing at the end of last season. So for me, I think he's going to be very pivotal this season for us.
Definitely. Actually, I really hope so as well. I hope he's just coming into his own this season. Yeah, Bob.
Yeah, just last one on Lucas. I called it last night. It's too late, mate. But another thing,
I've been calling it a long time ago, mate.
But again, I think the changing point was Everton in the FA Cup. We were struggling through the middle, and Jojo brought him up through in a number 10 position, and since then, he's been absolutely brilliant. He was probably, for the last third of last season, he was our best player. He looks slimmer. He looks actually a bit more. How do I say, fitter? Beginning in the pre-seasons, it seems to be this extra pace that he's brought out from nowhere. I don't know if you noticed, but when left back had the ball and he tried to kick it forward, and Lucas came out of nowhere, just overtook him and took the ball off him. So greater pressing, mate. 4 key passes, 2 goals in pre-season so far. You know, the stats speak for themselves. So, I was a fan of Lucas last season. I know some people were umming and ahhing, thinking, he's not the future? Of course not. He's not going to be here for the next 4 or 5 seasons, and we can revolve. But as an impact player, be it starting or coming off the bench, David always mentioned, you know, when he looked at the bench last season, you were a bit worried about who could come on and change the game, didn't you, Dave? You mentioned that a few times. Yeah. Lucas coming on, mate, we've got a player who could potentially change a game, and that's what we want.
I reckon he'll be a starter, though. I don't see him coming off the bench more.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and maybe I'll wrap it up on Lucas and just say, I've been saying it a million times, Lucas, some of these players you're playing against, Lucas, I must remind you, they have families. You can't be doing this to them. You know, you can't be nicking the ball off them that high up the pitch. You can't be doing some of these skills against these players. It's honestly not okay. Some of these men have families, Lucas. So to be honest, Nuno should take them off for maybe the next game as well. Actually, no, it's against Chelsea. It's against Chelsea. Yeah. So honestly, it's too late. Nuno, he's done his damage to these men. Lucas is honestly, it'd be illegal to play him. It'd be illegal to play him in those leagues. It'd be illegal. But Stackademics here with a fantastic name and a very generous super chat as well. Love the name. And he says, unpopular opinion, but I'm for selling Kane and rounding this squad out. We need 4 to 5 quality players to push for top 4 and could use the funds. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, that is, to be honest, Stackademics, that's not exactly as unpopular of an opinion as you might think, actually. It's a lot of people might be thinking in kind of the smart football manager mode, maybe even the Don Paratici mode, and will be saying, with the money, they could actually do a lot with it. There are a lot of good players that could, come in to actually replenish the squad, like you're saying. So you actually could be spot on there. And it seems like Danny is very excited by this. So I am just going to give it to him.
Yeah, no, do you know what? I agree with what you just said, man. I've been saying this. I know, look, none of us want to see Kane leave, right? None of us want to see him leave. He's the best striker in the world, in my opinion. But if he does go, then you have to, I think it's a good start to fucking rebuild the squad. And you can go and get someone like your man, Jack Vlahovic, and you can go and get another centre back, maybe another right winger as well, and maybe a central midfielder, and you've got the money to spend. And you're right, we can get a more rounded squad, which might be maybe what we need in a time where it is a buyer's market, and it's maybe the best time to spend money, essentially. And if Kane wants to go, and he really, really wants to go, then you have to come to some sort of agreement and let him go, and then reinvest the squad. And at least we've got someone who maybe potentially is better equipped to get in the right players for the rebuild. So, go on, Dave.
Or Danny, we act like a big club. We tell them you're not going anywhere, and we just open our pockets and sell the deadwood and rebalance the squad that way. It's going to be. Look, Daniel Levy sells Harry Kane. It's suicide for him.
I agree.
It's time up for Tottenham for him if he sells Harry Kane. He's not going to do it. He knows it will be. He's not selling Kane. Kane's not going anywhere, especially this season.
I know he's not. I know he's not.
Academics, what I'll say to you is you're absolutely, you have a really good point there. And I don't fret. I don't think it's as unpopular of opinion as you might think. I do think you could do a lot with some of the Kane money as well. I might say, especially if Kane still wants to leave, even after maybe we keep him this season, if he still wants to leave, definitely sell him. And it's really unfortunate. It's like selling, your firstborn son, but to be honest, it's like sending him off away, to the missus somewhere, and, never to see him again. But, I think that's probably what, we're just going to have to deal with.
And I think, Jack, it's a good vision.
Probably knows what that's going to be like in the future when you think about it.
It's a good vision, isn't it? To think that we could sell. So no one's going to pay 160 for him. So if realistically, we'd probably sell him for 120. But with Levy there, mate, we'll probably see about 40 of it, 50 of it, the rest of it. So it's a great vision. It's a great thought. But unfortunately, we all know there's only one person signing off the checks, or two people signing off the checks, and it's very unlikely we'll get all the Kane money. So it would be a waste. And I'm all for keeping Harry Kane. If against his wishes, fuck it. He has to deal with it.
Yeah. Keep big up Paul Markey, big up Academics. Everyone for the super chats. We really do appreciate it. And then Tom R here as well. And then also big up Tin Man 007 as well. And then Tom R here, big up Tom. And he says Partici was brought in to sign players for rebuild. Only 2 so far. Why do you think we are struggling why do you think we're struggling with others? In my opinion, it's Levy penny pinching. Yeah, I mean, it's a very popular opinion there, Tom. I almost actually, with Partici coming in, I do think he's probably sending all the right players to Levy. It is maybe a bit of the green light scenario. Supposedly a long time ago, there was the green light given on Romero, and maybe now the rumors are saying that we are haggling a bit over the deal. Maybe I might offer a bit of optimism and say that was a tweet from Romano a long time ago, that Levy gave the green light on getting Romano or getting Romero there. So if that's the case, then with Levy giving a green light, hopefully then we're just going to get him at all costs.
Yeah. Tomar, what I'd say to that is, look, maybe on some of the players we are penny pinching, but we also have to remember, especially in the transfer window, that some of these clubs are not going to let their players go unless they have a replacement lined up for them, because that'd be suicide for them. So there will be that element to it. Well, look, with Romero, we've stumped up the 55 million. We've given them the asking price, so it's in their hands. If this one doesn't get done, look, I don't know whether we can blame Levy for this one if we have stumped up the 55 million they've asked for. But we need to get business done at the end of the day tomorrow. No excuses. So, yeah, look, great super chat. I really appreciate it. Everybody, thank you so much for your super chats there. Really appreciate it. Really does help support the channel. And look, keep getting them in. But look, Jack, let's crack on with a lot of these questions.
Yeah, let's crack on a bit more and maybe kind of get through these last 2 for the game that we just witnessed, David. Bergwijn, played, the majority of this game off the left, but we do kind of maybe think that is probably where Sonny might be playing this season, especially if, Kane were to stay. Where do you guys see maybe Bergwijn then playing next season if that really is Sonny's position, despite Bergwijn looking so silky off the left-hand side cutting in? Where do we maybe see him playing next season? I'm going to start with Danny, if that's all right.
What, Bergwijn, you mean, where we see him playing next season?
Yeah, because he played so great today. People are saying off the left. People are saying, he had a bit more skills. He looked a bit more comfortable. But, that's probably going to be Sonny's position when you really think about it. So he's not going to really have that luxury or that option to be able to play there. So where do you see him playing next season if he's going to get playing time?
I think he'll play on the right. I think he will play on the right. I think he'll be competing with Lucas for that position. I think you'll probably see a lot of rotation. You might even see Sonny in some games play on the right, or he might go like a 2 up top, and then I don't know. We don't know what we're going to see. But if he's going to go over the 3, you could see Sonny playing on the right at the start of the half or start of the game, and then Bergwijn on left, and maybe they switch around.
Interesting.
It could be. Do you remember how when we used to have Bale, right? When we used to have he was kind of given like a free roam. Right. And also when we had Pochettino, when we used to have Dele Alli, Ericsson, and who was the other player? Son, right? Dele Alli, Ericsson, and Son. And they used to interchange all the time. Like sometimes Dele Alli would be on the left wing, sometimes Ericsson would be on the left, sometimes they'd be all over the place. And maybe he might have it a way where he gives them a bit more of a free role, and they've got to have communication between each other, where if one person's on the left and one person's got to be on the right, and vice versa. So they kind of interchange all the time, and they kind of They've just got to position themselves whenever, depending on wherever a certain player is being positioned. They work as a team and they communicate like normal fucking people do. And if he's there, then he has to go there, sort of thing. And it could be like an interchanging thing where you'll sometimes see Bergwijn on the left, you might see him on the right through games, but I think you'll see it where he's going to try a bit. He's going to try a bit of at the beginning. He's going to maybe try Bergwijn on the right, then a bit maybe Son on the right, just to see what he gets, what sort of positions he thinks the best players are suited for.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I to be honest, right, Bergwijn, when he's on the right, I have seen it. Yeah, he can cross the ball. He's not the great, amazing player, but he has got a good cross in him, right? He's just a bit. It's just in front of goal. His composure. He just like you said, his vision goes blurry and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's like looking for his manager's approval to see what to do next.
Interesting. Yeah. And another element maybe of that game, and Bob, maybe speaking of that right-hand side, we kind of saw that right-hand side, was a bit exposed, at times, maybe because a lot of the creativity from Lucas was coming from over there. But we really did see that, Doherty was having maybe a tough time, dealing with all the players that, were coming at him. Do you maybe see the right-hand side, being a bit of an issue maybe next season? And do you maybe see that right back signing maybe being more important than ever?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like you said, Jack, Lucas coming in is where he's most effective, so we can't really stop him from coming out. I've never seen Lucas put in a crossing ever. I've never seen him put a really good crossing. All his good plays been through the middle. So I think I agree with Danny actually. But when you look at the moving forward from the back three, if we go there, we've got 2 full backs, and we'll have Skipp and Højbjerg in the middle, and we'll have Sonny, Lucas, and Kane up front. So I'm kind of in a way happy that the pressure might not be there for Bergwijn to start every single way. You guys know what my thoughts are on Bergwijn, and majority of people disagree with me. I love him. I really think there's a player in him that we're waiting to come out. I know there's only a certain amount of time we can wait. We can give it till Jan probably. But I just really do think there's a player in him. I thought he was really good today, but his miss is kind of overshadowing. And I knew as soon as he missed that, I knew everyone was going to jump on. What a poor player! Till then, he was brilliant. I thought first half was absolutely brilliant. Close control, bringing players in, closing down like the
he was running a lot. If you look at his runs, right, he was getting into the right positions. It's just his last bit, which is the most crucial bit, he was fucking up on.
The conversation we're having now about Bergwijn is a conversation we used to have about Lucas.
Yeah,
exactly the same. Going into alleys and not knowing what to do. So with me, I really love to see the club have a bit of patience with him till at least January. But I'm glad in a way that he probably won't be seen as a first team starter. I think gradually he needs to work his way in, build up that confidence, get that goal, and see him. But actually, that's a personal thing. I just want him to. I just want him to do.
Do you know what, Bob? It's also for me the biggest thing is Nuno. It's Nuno. For me, the biggest thing is he's actually going to have a manager who wants to play the right way, but also it's the fitness side of the game. I keep saying to people, look at what he did to Adama Traore. He was useless at Middlesbrough. He was useless everywhere he was at, right? As soon as Nuno got him, he transformed the way he played. And he got bigger himself, right? But he transformed his end product because of coaching, because Nuno he knows how to coach players like Poch did, right? And I think he was unlucky that he didn't get his chance. Obviously, he came in with Mourinho. Mourinho's not a coach. He doesn't coach players. He just expects people to do their job. And it says, right, you do your job. If you're shit, you're not doing it, you're out of the team. Whereas Nuno will say, right, this is how you do something. This is how you do something. Do it like this. Do it like that. He will coach them. And that's the only thing. I think you've got to give Bergwijn this season. If he does the same again this season, he's got to go. He's got to go for me. That's my opinion.
There's many more players before him, isn't there, Danny?
100%. That's why. That's why I think for me, he's not. Look, Bergwijn's not going anywhere. Let's forget about that. He's not going anywhere this season. We've got too much shit we need to deal with. Get Harry Winks, Sissoko out first. Get fucking Eric Dier. Get Sanchez. Get Davis out. They need to get Ori out. They need to go first. Yeah. Bergwijn for me, give him another season. Does shit, he's got to go. As simple as that. Because he's only had one full season. He's had half a season. And last season, Jose, as soon as that Liverpool game happened, that was it. He was done. And before that, he was actually doing all right. Which
is a shame, It needs to be stronger than that. It needs to be stronger than that. Plus, Jack, by selling Bergwijn, we're probably making the squad even weaker. With Lamela gone and Toby gone, we just need to probably keep hold of the Bergwijns and possibly the Allis for a bit, just so we're not
they're going to stay by one season
our squad just for the sake of getting rid of Deadwood.
I think that's a good actually point there at the end there, Bob, because then it's another unnecessary hole maybe to fill again. But David, speaking of the right-hand side, David, we've been kind of saying that, for maybe the last, I don't know how long it's been, how many seasons, the right-hand side has always been kind of a bit of an issue for us, I feel like, and kind of filling and finding the right person and maybe create that creativity or the goal output. Maybe Gareth Bale somewhat did it last season, but we only saw so much of him. David, who do you see maybe Nuno favoring on that right-hand side? And maybe even with that creativity coming from the right-hand side, do you maybe think that maybe Nuno might be able to solve it with one of the players at his disposal?
Yeah, Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura is going to be his man. He offers the pressing, which is going to be crucial for. And he's found a little niche role for him. You're playing out on the right, but you're constantly cutting inside, picking up the ball in and around the middle. If you get the ball on the right, don't you dare go outside and put a cross in. Cut inside and play that killer pass. For me, I think Lucas will be the answer. I think it will be his breakout season. He was hauled off in the Carabao Cup final, best player on the pitch. Didn't start the Champions League final when he got us there. He should have started. So for me, I think he has a lot of pent-up sort of aggression towards Tottenham right now,
Interesting.
And for me, I think this is going to be the season for him to unleash it. Unfortunately, I don't see Bergwijn challenging him. I'll be honest with you. I know Danny and Bob mentioned there a couple of times that Mourinho has the problems for his failings. It's not. The guy was in this. The guy had a run in the team. He had a run in the team. He didn't perform. He was taking 2-3 touches to get the ball under control. And unfortunately, when you're in playing high stake game against Liverpool and you miss them 2 chances, I couldn't give a shit. You have to bury them. You're playing at Tottenham Hotspur.
I agree.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Right, you're playing at fucking Tottenham Hotspur here. You're not playing at Aston Villa or Burnley where it's okay to miss them chances. It was a high-stakes game, and he had to take them, and he didn't. Now, the thing is, he's not a kid either. The guy's 23, right? He has a child. He's a full-grown man, right? Now, the thing is, there's potential there. Yes. Right? He played better today. Yes. But did he really? There's no end product there. That's what he's there to do. He's in the team to provide end product. He didn't provide any. I'm not being funny. You can pay Usain Bolt to run up and down the ring like he did today. You're not going to get any end product. It's the exact same as playing Usain Bolt out there, to be honest with you. Just running up and down. It's all well and good. That's the minimum I expect from my players, to be able to make them runs. But when you're playing these sort of players, you want a bit of end product. And for me, you can keep saying it's up to Mourinho to put him into the team, this, that, and the other, right? But it's unfortunately, when you're not performing and you haven't performed, it's up to you to get into a manager's plans. We need to stop this at Tottenham Hotspur, where we're blaming the managers, and the manager has to fit this player and that player. Or the manager has to fit Ali in. The manager has to fit Winks in. The manager has to fit Bergwijn in. The thing is, you're not going to stop your system evolving around Harry Kane and Heung-min Son just to play these guys. You're not going to do it. For me, Bergwijn has to offer more to the team to be able to step in. Now, the first few games of the season, he might be played on that left, and hopefully he proves me wrong. He does produce. But as the season goes on and Kane comes back into fold, Son's going on to the left. Bergwijn will be dropped if Lucas keeps performing out on the right-hand side. And just for me with Bergwijn, I really do hope he does reach his potential. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, it's the Premier League. He has to up it. He has to know that himself. He's a big boy. He has to know he has to be working on his end product. He's crossing. He's passing. He's shooting. Does it look like he's worked on any of it? To me, I don't think so.
No, I don't think he has, David. Yeah, but
I don't know who said Jose, but I never mentioned Jose once with regards to Bergwijn.
You and Danny mentioned him 2 or 3 times. I was listening to his intently.
No, what I was saying.
No.
What I was gone, Bob. I'll let you say. Go on.
Yeah, never. I never mentioned Jose once because I don't think Jose was the issue with regards to Bergwijn. What I said was he just didn't perform because of that thing, and it needs to be mentally stronger. What I'm saying is there are so many more less important players that we need to get out of this squad before.
Oh no, I agree. He's by nowhere near the first one on my team sheet.
Fortunately,
we're talking about Bergwijn trying to get into the team. So you know what I mean? I agree. He's nowhere near the first one.
What he's got on his side is a bit of time, even till Jan. If he doesn't perform till Jan, and I've said this before, if he doesn't perform till Jan, it goes the same with Ali and probably Ndombele as well. These guys have got the first few months, and I agree with you. Lucas is a starter, but he won't be playing every single game. Even if Bergwijn can turn up in the odd cup game and show he's probably worthy of challenging.
Is that what we paid 30 million for, though, Bob?
It's one of those.
We paid 30 million for him to show up in the odd cup game.
Sorry, mate.
Did we pay 30 million for him to show up in the odd cup game?
No, but the way Lucas is playing, he's not going to get in front of Lucas, is he? So it's up to Bergwijn. There's going to be many players that we buy who's going to be sitting. It's going to be up to him to challenge Lucas. We can't fit in 12 players. So, like you say, Sonny's going to be down the left, Lucas is going to be down the right, and Kane's going to be up front. It's up to Bergwijn. I agree with it. It's up to Bergwijn to show that he's capable of at least coming on, making a difference, challenging Lucas. It's down to him. But like I say, what he's got on his side, fortunately for him, is time, mate. He's got at least till Jan, and we've got so much other shit to move on. Yeah. So he better make the most of it.
Yeah, I'm going to say something, right? Just quickly, right? Just for people who are saying in the chat, right? Just clarification on Bergwijn, how I feel about him. If it's up to me, I'd get rid of him. I don't think he's good enough to play for Tottenham Hotspur, right? I don't think he'll ever get to that potential. All I'm saying is, all I'm saying is that there is, like you said, Bob, there's worse players in that team, and he's going to have a chance. So let's see what happens this season. And if he does the same thing again, which he probably will, then we have to get rid of him next season because, like I said, we need to get rid of the fucking shit players in our team. And he's not shit in terms of like Harry Winks shit, Ben Davies shit, fucking Aurier shit, fucking, and the rest of those fucking delinquents like Dier. All I'm saying is that
delinquents.
Yeah, they are delinquents, all of them, right? All I'm saying is that if he has a bit of coaching, right? Yeah, fair enough. He's not got a strong mentality, right? I know that. I'm not sure.
Danny, he's been coached since he's 5 years of age.
Yeah, I know that, Dave. But the thing is, yeah, he's got a weak mentality. Let's be honest, right? He's a weak mentality.
What's he doing at Tottenham? We're not going to win anything.
I agree. But all I'm saying is they're not getting rid of him this summer, so they've got to see what they can do with him. And if he can be utilised in a way, whether it's from the bench, whether it's from certain games,
this is the thing. I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, but we're saying about coaching. Yeah. He's been coaching since he's 5 years of age. Let's be real here.
Yeah, but you got to understand though, he's coming to the animal of the Premier League. He's played in the fucking Dutch league. Let's be real, right?
But that's up to him. That's not to do with coaching. That's up to him.
Right? Yeah, but you got to look at it, right? Like, let me put a point here, right? Sonny, it took him 3 years to get to the level he's at now. 3 to 4 years, right? He was not at that level in the first 2 seasons. He was scoring goals, but he wasn't at that level. I know he was scoring goals, but he was not at that level like he is now.
But he had end product.
Yeah, he had end product, right? He was raw though. He was still raw. What the difference with Bergwijn and him is Bergwijn is not a confidence player, right? He needs to build his confidence because I think if he gets his confidence, I think you'll see a better version of him. I'm not saying
how do we build his confidence, though, Danny?
The only way to build his confidence
as well. We looked at the first 18 months stats, didn't we? And there's only 1 goal, 1 assist in the difference between Sonny and Bergwijn up to the 18 months. The performance is a whole lot different. We could see the potential with Sonny, but if we would stand back and a lot of people look at stats, I'm with Dave. I don't really look at stats that much, but if we do look at stats, the first 18 months difference between Sonny and Bergwijn was 1 goal and 1 assist more for Sonny. Apart from that, it was spot on. So it's one of those, isn't it? Like I say, he's fortunate he's the time's on his side. I've got confidence in him. Many people don't, but it's up to him. It's up to him.
Just back to what Danny was saying, just quickly, because we do have a couple of super chats to get to. Yeah, Danny, how do we give him confidence?
I think the only way you give someone like him confidence, right, is he needs to play in certain matches where it's not high pressured in terms of, I know every game's high pressured, but I'm talking about don't put him in a team where you need these 3 points to make a difference, or you need a high importance match. I think for me, you've got to play him in like the cup games. You've got to start him in every cup game, every Conference League game, every all the cups, right? He's got to be your main choice every single time, no matter what. Like, and then the rest can build around him, sort of thing. Not to play around him, but I'm saying he's got to start because he needs game time. He needs to keep continuously playing because then you'll get him in a consistent way where at least he's given the game time. And if he's still not producing after you're giving him these game times, then you know what level of player he is, and you know he's not going to be a Premier League player, like in terms of his level. He needs to go to maybe like the Spanish league or maybe back to Holland or somewhere else. But like he for me, like he might even be a Championship level. But the thing is, I know he's got the technical ability. There is something in there. There is. People can see that if people are not blind, right? And if you're intelligent, you can see there's something in there about him. There is something there. What you need is someone needs to twist that fucking key in his head to unlock unlock whatever it is that's blocking him from fulfilling his potential. And if someone or himself can do that, then you're going to see a different player. But if not, you're going to see the same Bergwijn this season, and it's just going to be a couple goals, maybe a few more goals than last season, 3 or 4 goals, 3 or 4 assists, which is not good enough. It's not good enough. And then for me, he needs to go. If he doesn't get double figures in goals or assists this season, he needs to go. That's my opinion.
I think that's a good stance there. I think that's a really good stance there. And then as well, I think like a lot of players need to show up by January for sure. A lot of players. There's a huge list of them that need to show up by January. And then honestly, in answer to David's question, I think Danny had a good one there, and like maybe play him primarily in these cup games, in these ECL games, as a player that should be able to dominate in these games, that should be able to bully these kind of players. So I think that's a good solution. If it doesn't work out, you got to sell him in January.
You know what I want to see?
That'll be the case. But
I want to see aggression. I want to see aggression, man. Do you know what he reminds me of, David? He reminds me too much of a Pansy, a bit like Winks, a bit like lightweight. Like he's too scared. Like he's too scared to take on his man. Fucking, he's a big guy, man. He's a bit of a fat boy, but he uses fucking body weight against players.
Muscle.
But there's only so much you can wish for out of a player. If they just don't have it, they don't have it. That's the thing.
I know.
Time's on his side.
He's not like me and you, David, mate. He's not like the Gattusos of this world. Do you know what I mean?
Gattuso?
No, 100%. But look, we'll crack on with these couple of super chats. We'll crack on with these super chats, and then we'll get more questions in.
Yep. Thank you, David. And Dermot Moyles here saying, big up, Dermot. Good to see you, brother. And he says, I can't see Kane going this season with most clubs not having a lot of money to spend with in the transfer market. Levy will always have to have the last word. I think that's true. And then I can see Nuno getting more out of the squad. Yeah, I can see Nuno probably getting more out of the squad than maybe most expect. Even if he was given maybe, a pile of shit, I do think he could actually polish it quite decently. But at the end of the day, you really can't polish a turd like Tottenham's. But I think he could actually do a decent job with it. But as well, with Kane going this season, I can't see Kane going this season either. And then with a lot of the transfers, I do agree that, we do need the green light from Levy most of the time. But really big yourself up, Dermot. I really appreciate the super chat. Really very generous of you. And everybody check him out on Twitter as well. He's trying to come out with a lot of the Spurs news. He's trying to keep us informed. Please check him out. It's Tottenham Tantrum, which is a great name as well. So Tottenham Tantrum on Twitter as well. Please check out Dermot over there.
Big up.
And then Bryan Gil, I love the name here. Brian, thank you for the generous super chat. He says, for us to have a successful season, we need Tanguy or we need Ndombele to start playing how we know he can play. Yeah, for us to have a successful season, we need Tanguy to start playing how we know he can play. Hopefully he's in the gym daily. Yeah, hopefully he is in the gym daily. And hopefully, to be honest, Nuno, again, has actually informed all of the fast food establishments within his 10-mile radius or 10K radius, that there is no player of his description allowed to be inside some of these fast food establishments, especially the drive-thru. I think he's going to try to get away with the drive-thru. He's probably going to have to, David, he's going to have to drive a normal car because they're going to see the Lamborghinis coming through. They're going to know it's him. He's going to have to maybe drive like a normal car, maybe to get away with it. So honestly, I hope that Nuno informed all the fast food places that no Tanguy is allowed and that he needs to be back in the gym. And hopefully, David, he just has his own private gym as well. And maybe Nuno's going on the little private runs, with him around the block, like Jose did. Pretty much I would be doing that. I would love to do that with Tanguy. So that might be my last thing I'll say to you, Brian. So big up Bryan Gil. I love the name.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. What I will say, Brian, is look, apparently we have one of the best fitness coaches, very well renowned around the world. So he'll definitely get Ndombele in shape. Don't believe me. He's had a child, so he's probably hasn't really played the match and that and whatever. But look, I do believe he'll be rare and fit, ready to go for the season, and I do believe they're working on him incredibly hard behind the scenes. I just want to say, everybody, there is 400 people watching right now. Make sure everyone has smashed that like button. Make sure you do smash that subscribe button if you're new. Become a part of the fastest growing channel on YouTube, I'd say. As well, also get them super chats in. It really does help to support the channel. It helps bring out better and better content. We've got much more improved content coming to start of this season as well. And make sure you follow all the boys. All the links to their channels is in the description below. So if you like what any of them are saying here right now so far today, make sure you get over there and follow them. But Jack, let's crack on with more of these questions. We need to start flying through some of these as we'll be here all night. We'll be here for 3.5 hours like the other night on the fan show, Jacko.
Yeah, David. No, but to be honest, David, it's always worth it. It's always worth it. And we're going to be moving, away from the game that we just watched. We're moving away from the MK Dons game. We're going to kind of be talking about the future here, maybe putting a bit of our football manager caps on, maybe just putting a bit of our just regular opinions on what we think of some of these players that we'll be talking about. And the first one here is Bryan Gil. And this is kind of a thing, guys, where Bryan Gil, a lot of us have said, and a lot of us have seen in the highlights that he's played the majority of last season on the left for Eibar. But in fact, he actually played the last 5 matches in La Liga for Eibar, coming in off the right, cutting in off the right, and playing a bit like an inverted winger. I think a lot of us have maybe criticized maybe him for being maybe only capable of playing on the left wing. Maybe I could be wrong that, he really is more comfortable there. But do you guys see maybe, Bryan Gil maybe being able to actually be effective playing on the right-hand side and being that inverted winger, kind of like a Mahrez or, something like that, being that creative inverted winger? With Bob, what do you think with Bryan Gil?
Yeah, I mean, it's about Bryan Gil. Sometimes I just think we need to all calm our pants. We just don't know. I hope he comes in and becomes the next. Some people, I know we haven't, but some people calling him the next Messi or the next Cruyff. We just don't know. And for a player that we hadn't heard of till 3 weeks ago, I think we just need to ease off for his sake, not for our sake. I want him to become the next Messi, the next Bale. But I think for his sake, we just need to calm it and give him a bit of chance and see how he gets on. Because, there seems to be a lot of contradiction, like, he's the best thing since Messi. We hadn't heard of him till 3 weeks ago, but look at his stats. Look, Barcelona and Real Madrid were crying over it. Well, we didn't know all this till we actually were linked for it.
Right.
If he was that good a player, we would have known him like an Mbappe when he was young, or a Griezmann when he was young, or when a Ronaldo when he was young. Everyone knew these were household names even before they moved to a bigger club. So we just need to hold off a bit with regards to where he can play. I believe, even if he can't play, and Jack, I think you mentioned it in a review. If you're a Premier League player, mate, you need to play either or, don't you? You need to play down the left, down the right, regardless of what footage you are, and down the middle. You need to have that quality to play whichever side. So hopefully, he can resolve our right wing position. But fortunately, we have got
Great
1.5 quality players there who we can learn off and see. I hope it's a right, because the fashion is a right-footed on a lot on the left and left-footed on the right. So, they're promising, but I just think sometimes we just need to stand back and give the give the man, a boy, a bit of a chance to settle in before we expect too much. And I know you guys concur with that. So
I agree with you, Bob. And to even further you there, he's only even played 87 games, in his entire senior career. We really do need to relax. There's only so much he can do by the age of 20, in his lifetime. I can tell you, I can actually probably not think of very much that I had done by that age. So to be honest, by even playing 87 games, with most of them being in the second division of Spain, I would be absolutely delighted for myself. But with Danny, what do you make of this? Maybe he actually can play off the right. Maybe it's not as something that he was so used to last season, but, in the last few games of the season for Eibar, they were kind of working him into it. What do you maybe make of this? Do you see him playing off the right? Do you see him being a successful kind of inverted right winger? Do you see him maybe just coming in for Son off the left? What do you see Bryan Gil doing?
I think he's going to be utilized a bit everywhere, to be honest with you. I think he's going to be given a chance everywhere, depending on how he trains, how the manager sees him. I think at first, he's going to start by allowing Son to come off, because when Son's tired in the end of games, and there's games where Son sometimes is out of the game and he's not doing as much, right? And you've seen it so many times last season, where he needed to come off, but there was no one else you could bring on to replace him who's going to do the same kind of thing Son would do.
Interesting.
With Gil, he's someone, from what we've read, what we've seen, what we've researched, he's a pressing forward player, right? So he will press, he will run a lot, and he takes on people. He's a dribbler. So if you put on someone like him on this 75th minute or something like that, just to give Son some rest or something, and someone like him might kind of freshen up the attack and also allow the kind of pressing to keep going, so that they they don't lose the ball sort of thing. And whether it's from the left, whether it's from the right, I think he'll probably play first on the left, but I think he will get chances, whether we play a 4-2-3-1, and he might play sort of behind the striker in certain games. He might play on the right certain games, but I think he's going to be utilised everywhere. But I think first it will be the left-hand side. That's what I think.
Interesting. David, maybe just to spice up this question, we've seen the creativity with Lucas cutting inside on his own right foot off of the right. Do you maybe see Bryan Gil being able to be similarly as creative, maybe not as productive, but let's say similarly as creative, maybe cutting in off the right?
Look, whatever he produces on the left-hand side, he can definitely do it on the right-hand side anyway. All it is just cutting inside, just a different angle, just waiting your pass differently. So there should be no reason why he couldn't. Look, for me, we have to give the kid time to settle. He's going to come in late. He's at the Olympics. Nothing we can do about that. But look, this is when Bergwijn needs to perform, because this guy's here to take his place. Bergwijn's not only competing for a backup role or, competing with himself next time Lucas doesn't play or Son doesn't play. He's competing with Bryan Gil if he comes in. If this guy comes in, hits the ground running, becomes tricky, starts producing, producing output, then Bergwijn's in real trouble with Gil. Look, for me, I think this lad is going to do just fine at Tottenham. I really do. Yeah. I think maybe the view long-term will probably be playing him more centrally, like a number 10 or something like that. That's my opinion on it. Sort of like a Luka Modric, when Luka Modric first came to Tottenham, he played higher up the field, but he was so good at getting the ball left, picking up the ball, rotating it left, right, little dinks over the top, creating angles for wingers to cross and stuff like that. But look, Gil, I really am excited about. I know a lot of us haven't seen much of him, right? But you can tell a player is going to be a baller by how good he is with the feet. You know what I mean? With this guy, it's really, really quick feet. He knows how to get out of trouble, but his brain thinks just as quick. He was playing at a relegated team last season. He's still what was it, 4 goals, 5 assists, I think it was.
A bit more than that. I think it was 4 goals and 3 assists maybe this last season, or a bit more than that. Yeah, you're right, David.
And he was playing in a relegated team. You know what I mean? Look, for me, I think we have to give the guy a chance. I do think he will be a good player. I really do. I think, look, he is probably more one for the future, but we also have to be looking a bit long-term as well. That's why we got Paratici in, to be able to bring in players, to be able to build something for the future. And we also got that guy in from Derby to be able to identify the best talent from 17 to 21 and get the players in to help Tottenham for the future. So, look, the only way... Look, I know a lot of people probably question it because we haven't signed centre-backs. That's fair enough. And we have sold Toby, but I do believe centre-backs will be incoming. I could be sitting here at the end of the transfer window and saying, I can't believe he's done this. But I don't think Paratici and Levy are that stupid not to sign centre-backs and sell Toby and buy a right winger. Look, backup goalkeeper or some of the challenge Hugo Reece we needed. Can't argue with that. But I do think we will get defenders in. But I do think Gil, long-term will pay off. I really do believe that.
Do you know what, Dave? Before we move on to this, right? He could. You got to remember, right? Neto's only had 1 season in the Premier League, and he scored 5? How many goals he scored? 5 goals or something like that, and had 5 assists or something in his first season in the Premier League. So you never know. He could have a season like that, and for me, that's better than Bergwijn's numbers. And for me, I'd rather have him playing in the team because I want to see players who run at people, who make people scared and don't know what they're going to do. And from what I've seen of him, if he can bring that kind of just his mentality of a player, I want to run at people, I want to attack people, I'll be happy with that because it means he's trying. Like Bergwijn doesn't do that, doesn't run at people, and he can do it, but he just doesn't do it because he's scared. And if we see Gil play, just fucking run at them, man. That's what they're there for. And like you said, David, he's got quick feet. His change of direction is so quick from what we've seen. Just from what
bit like me on the Astro, lad. That's what they say on the Astro.
That's exactly it, man. Exactly it.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, when it comes to even
Irish
him,
foot, man.
When it comes to him even skinning players, he has, I believe, some of the most carries into the box, I believe, in for La Liga. So that just shows what you're talking about, Danny. He's actually aggressive. He can carry it into the box with his own 2 feet, with something Bergwijn really struggled with when maybe, like you were saying, was a bit scared to do. Yeah, David, were you going to say something?
Oh no, I was going to say I'll be back in 1 sec. I just have to go Jacks, but I'm staying here for my Irish man with the super chat here from Donegal.
No problem, David. And Donegal Spurs, Mark McConnell here. He says the Romero deal is ditto to past Levy deals. Paratici will hit a brick wall like the rest. Wonder could Bryan Gil play center back? This almost seems to be maybe Bob. I might be playing you unfairly here. It comes a bit out of your hymn book, maybe. To be honest, maybe Bryan Gil. You know, to be honest, he seems to be the right winger. He seems to be the left winger that we want him to be. Hopefully we didn't get it wrong. Hopefully we didn't get the wrong, player name or something like that. But as well, I really do hope that Paratici has a bit of maybe grit on him to maybe push Daniel Levy a bit. But that's a hard, bald man to push. So I'm being very optimistic. Bob, maybe anything to say on this?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why it's people are worried and apprehensive is because it's the same garden path that we've constantly been led down. We've seen past history. It's a pattern, isn't it? Regardless of it, now we're hoping that Paratici is the one who's going to change it all. But right now, the apprehension is still there. You know, it's the garden path where you go down and you see a Skriniar, you see a Bruno Fernandes, you see a Grealish, you see a Pochettino returning, you see a Conte coming in, you see for fuck's sake, a Fonseca. So, and now suddenly Romero's on that garden path. We're hoping one of these days we open the door at the end of that garden path, and there is an actual player that we want. And really hope so, really, because Romero, I've made no secret about what I think of him. I think he's absolutely fantastic, and I just pray that he does get through the door, and Paratici does put it off. But it's again, there's nothing for me. There's nothing. If we don't put it off, it's not Paratici's fault. It's not, because at the end of the day, the person who signed the buck literally stops with Levy, and the fact we've seen it so many times is making fans a bit worried and probably making us think. Certainly me, I'm a bit cautious because I don't want to get my hopes up too high because we've seen how Levy works, and obviously I don't know. While we've been on air, the reports of Galatasaray coming in for Tanganga for a season-long loan.
What happened?
That's not an happen.
But it's like anything. I can't be hypocrite till they're holding the shirt.
Just that guy at is it Telegraph, McGrath or something?
It's Daily Telegraph.
McGrath.
He's the same Daily Telegraph, right? He's the same guy that said we want to sign Vlahovic as well as having Kane. I mean, come on, man. I sent him a message today on Twitter saying, do you know who Daniel Levy is? I said, look, I don't want to discredit you, mate, but to think we're going to spend 60 million euros to bring in with Kane, and we can't even do a deal for Romero at the moment. I mean, like, wake up, man. Like, honestly.
Yeah, David, were you going to say something?
Yeah. Sorry, no, go on.
Look, what I'll say is the Romero, just read the super chat to pass Levy deals. What I will say is on this, look, the offer of 55 million's gone in. We're offering what they want. Now, this is the question I have. Is this Levy's fault if this one doesn't get done? Considering
the issue though that we want to pay by when I say we, Levy wants to pay in installments. If someone comes in with a 55 cash offer, mate, then I think that might turn Atlanta's. I know we don't have 55 million.
No one's coming in with 55 million cash. Nobody. Nobody. With a lot of deals you see this summer, Bob, a lot of them are going to be structured. Now, look, it could be very well that we're digging our heels in and we want to structure it a lot longer than what Atlanta want to structure it. That could be the case. And look, I genuinely, I get the skepticism. I get it. If I've had to endure the pain for as long as you have, Bob, I would definitely be a skeptic. You know what I mean? Look, it's probably just the young naivety in me that I am a bit positive, and I do think we will get centre backs. But with the Romero one, look, with a big deal like that, you've seen how long it took White to eventually sign for Arsenal. You've seen how long it eventually took for Varane to sign for United. Look, these big deals, they take time. And look, for me, I do think we are getting. I think we will get Romero, and I do think we probably will get another centre back in. Please. Like I said, I could be sitting here at the end of the transfer window, crying my eyes out, and I can't believe I fell for it. I really could be, but. What I'd say to Spurs fans is we called for the director of football. It's what we wanted. A lot of Spurs fans called for Mourinho to be sacked. We were always going to go through the manager search. Anyone that was watching me, I told you this all along. You sack Mourinho, you sack Pochettino, you're sacking two of the goats of the games. Managers are not going to want to come. Managers all text each other. Managers all speak to each other. And look, that turned out to be the case. I think this time round, me personally, or what I'm going to do is, I think I have to be patient. I think I have to see how this window pans out. I really do, because I did get what I asked for. I asked for Paratici, but I wanted Paratici when Mourinho was here. But look, that's different. We have Paratici now. For me, I just think because everyone knows we're looking for centre halves, we don't want to be ripped off either. We do not want to be ripped off either. So we do have to try and get the best deal for Tottenham. And look, if it drags out another week and we do get him in, I don't mind as long as it's the best deal for Tottenham. But we do need to get defenders in. And if I'm sitting here 100%. After transfer window and we haven't done any deals for defenders, I'm going to be absolutely livid. And you might 100%. Not see me for a little while.
But big up, Mark McConnell. Really do appreciate it, Mark McConnell, and anybody else. We are going to try to get to all your comments. We are seeing them as well. We will get to them as best we can. But there are 400 people in the building right now at the moment, and so it is a bit hard at the moment. So if you're generous enough, if you're willing enough, please send in a super chat. We'd be happy to discuss your comment. But moving on to the next question here, lads, it is going to be this question that I did bring up to the fan show a while back. This that was giving a lot of people a bit of trouble. And this was the one where I was saying, who's going to replace that Bale output from last season? Who's going to be that third highest goal scorer for us next season? And it is a bit hard. There aren't really maybe a lot of, maybe solid, easy answers for this one. And so maybe guys, amongst you two, Bob or Danny, whoever you might be, willing to offer up first, maybe to discuss who's going to fill in, that most coveted kind of third highest goal scorer. It doesn't even have to be goals, right? It can be maybe assists, like maybe Eriksen would have done or something like that. It can be a bit of creativity. It doesn't need to be goals, but who's it going to be?
I don't know if Danny agrees with me, but I reckon Lucas for the goal, Lucas for the assists, and then we've got Scarlett as well. We've got another goal scorer within the squad as well. So for me, Lucas and Scarlett combined could probably make up for those numbers. Sorry, though.
No. Sorry, I was interrupting you, man. I think for me, I've said it at the beginning of the stream. I've been saying it for a little bit of time. For me, I think Lucas Moura is going to have the best season he's ever had. I think he's going to have the best season he's ever had at Spurs. Not just by looking at what I've seen in the pre-season. Some of the passes he's been making with his right foot, left foot, one-touch passing. He's been fucking unbelievable. But the thing is, it's even the back end of last season, he was literally our best player. He was literally our best player. Yeah. He was literally he was the most creative player. He was the best pressing player. He was the only one really making runs at players. And for me, I think he's going to be our most crucial player this season in terms of maybe trying to replace what Bale had, because obviously when Bale was playing, Moura sometimes, before Moura came into the team and he was playing with Bale and stuff, I think it was mainly him or Bale sort of thing was getting in the team, and then occasionally Bergwijn might get in to start. But I think he'll start more as long as he doesn't get injured and doesn't start having bad performances. I think it'd be Moura. And maybe it could be like a balance between all of the players. Like maybe a little bit of Hill, a little bit of Bergwijn, a little bit of Ali might come back into it. Maybe you might get how like Man City, they don't rely on one player, that everyone plays their part. It could be a case where we're not on the same level where everyone's getting like crazy amounts of assists and goals, but you get the odd 1 or 2 goals or an assist from each player. They can all play their part. Yeah, like Dele might get 1 or 2 goals. The Celso might get 1 or 2 goals. Maybe Bryan Gil might. Maybe even Bergwijn. I keep saying David Gil.
David,
I could David Hill. David Gil, mate. Yeah.
I don't know what you guys think as well. There's no. Yeah, he scored those goals, but no fault from his own. But we do need to look at the fact he did score against the weaker teams. Yes, he should have played a lot more games in the bigger the bigger sides. Bale last season.
But the difference with Bale... Sorry, go on, Bob. Go on.
No, it's no fault from his own. He should have played a lot more games. Who knows what numbers. But we do need to stand back and actually look at the fact that the goals were scored against the weakest or the lesser teams. So, who knows what the numbers would have been. Yeah, who knows what numbers would have been if he'd scored against the better teams. But
what I saw with Bale last season is that I don't think he can compete at the level where he, like, in the most highest pressured games, right? Where I say, like, when you're up against the Liverpools and the Man Uniteds and the Man Cities, like, maybe as an impact player, like a sub, I think he can do well. But when you're starting him, you need to give 120%, and you need to press. You need to be running non-stop. And Bale wasn't like that. But when he played against the lesser teams, like the Burnleys, like the ones who stay off you, like the ones who don't press you, right? When we were playing against those type of teams, like he was destroying them. Like he scored a lot. He scored like 2 hat-tricks, wasn't it, in 2 Premier League games? Like he was the only player to score a hat-trick for us last season, I think. I don't think Kane did. So
Sonny did. Sonny got 4, didn't he, against Southampton?
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did. Sorry, yeah. Apart from Sonny, that was it. So for him to score 2 hat-tricks in the Premier League, that's a difficult thing to do in itself. But the difference is when we were playing those teams, like in previous season, when we were playing those teams with a low block, like the Burnleys, like those kind of teams, right? We would struggle against them. We would have so many chances, but we couldn't put it in the back of net. But what Bale did was he utilized his class against these teams and he hurt them. And he made it look like it was another day in the park for him. Like when we beat Burnley 4-0, people were like, "Oh, it's only Burnley," but they went and beat Liverpool like a few weeks before that, and everyone's like, "Oh, Burnley are amazing, Burnley are amazing." But then when we beat them, it's like, "Oh no, it's only Burnley." It's like, do you know what I mean? It's fucking ridiculous. But that's because Gareth Bale destroyed them in some of these games against those lesser teams. So that's why I think he would have been brilliant for us this season for me, but I think you've got to now have some of these players. I think everyone's got to play their part for us this season. I don't think it's going to be one player.
Maybe they have to even chip in and make it up for, a bunch of them have to make up for it. Even with maybe what we saw with Bryan Gil with those stats, the 4 goals and 3 assists, maybe we just need to see a bunch of those and that could make up for that could make up for it. So I think that's a good answer from both of you. Yep, sorry.
And Jack, we also know, mate, that if Ali gets his game on, them figures are achievable by Ali alone. We know Ali's got those numbers in him. So
even when he has a bad season, Bob, he still scores like 8 goals and like 7 assists or something like that. Like and for us, that's probably an improvement on last season. So that if you get like Jack just said, you get say Ali scoring, I don't know, say if he scores 8 goals in a season, 8 assists, right? That's pretty much Lucas Moura's stats last season. Or I think he got a little bit more, but you have like say Lucas Moura getting that again, and then you have maybe say like you said Bergwijn getting 3 goals, 3 assists, David Hill getting 3 goals, 3 assists, Lascelles getting maybe 4 goals, 4 assists. They play their part. Like they can all play their part. So
interesting.
We'll see.
I think those are great answers from you guys. David, maybe just a quick answer from you on this one. This was that one we were asking on that fan show, that really tough one about who might fill in, the productivity that Bale had in terms of goals and assists. Danny and Bob were saying, they gave a bunch of different, I think, good answers for it. One of them even being that maybe a bunch of players can make up for it. But what are you thinking?
Just getting a drink, guys. All right.
No problem.
First of all, for me, you need someone to come in and replicate exactly what Bale done. Look, I know Danny's saying, you need Lucas with 3 goals, 3 assists, Bergwijn with 3 goals, 3 assists. These are £30 million players. Look, for me, we need Lucas Moura to do what Gareth Bale done. 8 goals, 11 assists, or whatever it is, flipping around the other way around. You know what I mean? For me, but not only that, we need to start picking up goals from set pieces, from corner kicks, from free kicks. We need to be banging at least 3-4 free kicks a season. We need to be picking up at least 5-6 goals from corner kicks a season. And like that, we need more of our midfielders to chip in with goals. We need the wing backs to start chipping in with more assists. So look, for me, there's definitely improvements to have.
It's like
very good. Sorry?
It's a collective, innit? Like everyone has to play better. Like everyone has to do their job better, basically.
Look. Even if we had Gareth Bale going into the new season and we didn't have to replace him on the right, we still need a collective. We still need more goals from the rest of the players in the team. 100%. But we do need someone to predominantly do what Bale done on the right hand line. Look, I know a lot of these goals were against smaller teams, but over Potter's time, there were teams that we struggled to break down more or less. With the smaller teams.
Yeah, exactly.
So you do need someone that's going to turn up for these games. And look, I just want Lucas to replicate what Bale has done. I really do think he will. Like I said, I think Nuno's already started to improve. And he's already shown Lucas, you don't always have to get on the ball and drive at players. Sometimes you can just pick up a gap in here and play that pass like we've seen time and time again. He was involved in all 3 goals today. Right?
Yep.
He's been our best player pre-season. Let's be honest about it.
Yep.
He's been our best player this pre-season. He's been our sharpest player. He's probably won the most free kicks. He's been the most productive with goals and assists. Involved in all 3 goals today. This guy has to this season pick up where Bale left off last season. He has to.
Absolutely. Fantastic answers from the whole panel there on that. And I do think, as well, a lot of people seem to enjoy that. They were giving their answers, in the comments. Lots of people who seem to, really have the faith in Lucas. Lots of people who had faith in, even Bryan Gil stepping up. Some people were saying even gratefully, kind of saying listen, this is the time where a lot of these players need to step up to this potential. Maybe what David was saying, a lot of these players are, 30 million pounds anyway. They need to step up. So a lot of great answers from everyone in the Harris Army as well. But this is moving on to the next question here. This is that really famous Fabrizio Romano tweet, which is maybe complicating things. Maybe this is, the crack in the Romero deal, which is that we are maybe struggling or maybe finding hard to make this 55 million pound deal for Romero work with Atalanta. If we don't get it through, if we struggle to get it done, if we pull out of it, there is apparently an option B where we would be going for Zuma for 25 million. Maybe we'd go for someone similar for Zuma for 25 million, considering he might be going to Sevilla. But then we would also get Tomiyasu for 18 million and Milinkovic for 15 million. What do you guys think? If it just came down to this, maybe it doesn't have to be Zuma, to begin with, but what would you take? Would it be option A? Would it be option B? Let us know in the comments, as well. But please, guys, I'd be happy to know what they're going to take. I know maybe the Zuma thing is a bit new as well, where he might be going to Sevilla. But yeah, just what would you take? Option A, option B, maybe come up with your own option. Let me know. But anybody that's willing to take this. Yeah, David, you seem eager to take it. Option A, option B.
Look, for me, to be honest with you can do both. Let me tell you why. Right, we have the 55 million to get Romero. That's clear, or you wouldn't be putting in the money. Right, you ship on. We've shipped on Dier. You ship on Ahai Winks. You get 15 to 20, 25 million for that. That pays for Milinkovic and gives you about 10 million left over for Tomiyasu. You sell a Sissoko, an Aurier, or a Davies. That gives you the extra million to go and get Tomiyasu. After that, then you don't need someone like a Kurt Zuma because you already have Milinkovic, Romero, and a top Tomiyasu. You get me in two centre backs and a right back. I would say we've had a good window along with getting Gil and a keeper to contest Hugo Lloris that we need. And it even covers us. It even covers us. Sorry, Danny.
If they bring in those three defenders, right, you could sell Sanchez as well because you're going to have to get rid of some money from, and he's the He's the one who can bring in the most money.
Yeah, look, there's loads of players. Sanchez, Dier, there's loads of players you can sell. So, you can actually realistically afford both options. You just take Kurt Zuma out of the equation. You take Romero, you take Milinkovic, and you take Tomiyasu. There you are. You have the money for Romero. Like I said, you sell a bit of deadwood. That raises the funds for Milinkovic. He has 1 year left on his contract. That's why he's going so cheap. Rumored around 15 million, and that's because he only has 1 year left on his contract. And then a Tomiyasu, which we're only a couple of million away. So, look, you can do all three. You can get two centre-backs and a right-back. That's the window done for me. Perfect. And if you could add in one or two more after that, well, Jays, I'd be jacking off to it, to be honest.
Definitely. I kind of like that answer there, David. Danny, you seem to be interested in that kind of answer as well. What do you think? Option A, option B, what are you taking?
I'm taking the Don Harris option.
Love it. I love it. To be honest,
he literally said what I was going to say. So
word for word. Yeah. Maybe I might just, before I go to Bob, maybe I might just add a bit of nuance. A lot of people are saying, option C, they're coming up with their own option, which I love, putting on their own little flat cap, manager cap, and their option C, a lot of them is Romero plus Milinkovic. I mean, that would be the most ideal scenario.
Oh.
I would say if we came down to the most ideal option, that would be what I would go for. Maybe if I had to deal with Levy, it might be something like a Milinkovic, maybe plus someone else that, I wouldn't. Tomiyasu does seem like someone who'd be good maybe to plug in for that right back / center back kind of, fluidity. And then maybe someone else who might go for that, might be willing to come. Maybe even like someone like a Sven Botman, if he's maybe, let's say 20 million less than, someone like Romero, then let's get someone like Sven Botman. Not a bad choice. A lot of ones that people seem to like. But Bob, option A, option B, what are you thinking?
Pretty much what the guy's saying. If it just comes down to two, it'll have to be Romero and Milinkovic for me. I still find the whole Tomiyasu deal a bit iffy. I don't know if that's going to happen. Olympics is suddenly being used as an excuse, but we managed to sign Bryan Gil while he's out there, and Tomiyasu apparently would agree to deal personal terms with, and he told his agent that he wants to come here. So I'm a bit worried why that's not happened. And what I'm about to say, I know it's a generational thing, and I know I'm on my own with this, but when I was given, or we were given the option A, option B, I got fucking pissed off.
Yeah.
How dare someone sitting on a fucking tweet text about my football club and give me an option A or no? We're not a fucking school. It's all very well sitting here going, oh, we're a big team. We need to act like a big team. Yet we're quite happy to some random guy who has no connections with Tottenham Hotspur Football Club to tweet us. And here you go, guys. Here's 2 options. Fuck all that. Get Romero in. Get Milenkovic in. And get another defender in. Fuck all
It's not deal or no deal, is it, Bob?
Option A or option B. Get the fucking defenders in. I don't give a shit about option A, B, C, D. I don't give a fuck about that. Get the defenders in. Cheers.
He's right, though.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Big up, Bob. Big yourself up, Bob. Big yourself up, Bob. And to be honest, if it all came down to it, I really wish maybe Paratici maybe went about it in that order when it came to the signings. Maybe some of these signings he's done were obviously easy for him. You know, he wanted to maybe do the easy ones first, but I really do think that, you know, he should have actually gone for the center backs and for the right back just to maybe ease the fans. And then that Don Paratici, you know, kind of name would definitely be what we would all probably be singing. But Deadeye Mike here with the super chat here, with the contribution, with the donation here. Deadeye, if you're just giving us a donation here, I really do appreciate. You're really quite generous of you, Deadeye. But if you maybe forgot to put a comment in there, we will try to look for it and we will put it up on screen. So really do appreciate it, though, Deadeye Mike, and fantastic name as well. But yeah, it seems like, you know, most people may be going for like an option C kind of scenario, which is, I kind of think might be the best scenario as well. Bob also saying, you know, we just should be honestly just signing these defenders first and not be maybe making this so public, you know, for Romano maybe to even make profit off of as well. So I do agree with Bob there. But guys, we're going to be moving on maybe to the Toby situation with Toby leaving Spurs. And Toby, guys, he's, you know, supposedly he's thinking of his financial security. You know, the money that, you know, wasn't maybe earned at Tottenham or Spurs was maybe enough for him. You know, he's thinking of, you know, his future. He's thinking of his financial security. But let's maybe just think about the football club and, you know, the center back situation. Does Toby leaving Spurs really mean that we practically desperate, like we literally need 2 center backs? We were saying, you know, maybe if we signed one class center back, that might be all we need, because we were, you know, thinking that we would have Toby for another season. But now that Toby has left, do you guys see us maybe needing absolutely 2 center backs this upcoming season?
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Like, they wouldn't sell Toby unless they knew they were definitely getting a centre back in. So I don't believe this myth that people say. I've seen some people say, "Oh, we're not going to get a centre back." I mean, you got to be a fucking idiot if you think we're not going to get a centre back for selling technically your best defender, right? In terms of like his ability wise. So for me, it's a given that they're going to get a centre back. The argument and the sort of difference of opinions is which one we're going to get. That's where the problem lies. Are they going to go for me? You bring in Romero, statement signing, right? You bring in anyone else, it's same old Tottenham. It's the same old shit that we've always seen for the last 15 years, right? So I think Alderweireld leaving is probably time. The time was right, because he wanted to leave before. He was like this when he was with Poch. As soon as Mourinho came in, he signed his contract extension. It was like he always wanted to play for Mourinho, right? But as soon as Mourinho left, he wanted to leave again, which means I know he was an amazing player, and don't get me wrong, as the age has got older, his kind of legs have gone a bit. He's not the same player. He's still a good player, but he's not the same. If someone wants to leave and doesn't want to play for that badge and their heart's not in it, then you've got to let them go, and that's what they've done, because I think they understand a little bit.
Unless it's Kane.
Unless it's Kane, because Kane, yeah, Kane's elite level. Like he's top 5 players in the world, in my opinion. Yeah. Like he's up there with Kevin De Bruyne, Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, and Mbappe. Yeah. He's up there. Like he's that level of player, especially with the form, in terms of form wise as well. So.
And maybe Bob, Danny, quickly as well. Maybe with Toby. Let's get to Aiden. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we get to Aiden super chat. Then we have Dermot Miles, but then Deadeye might put his comment in from the previous super chat without the comment. So
I'll
just to get to them.
Yeah, David, and maybe after I go through these ones, maybe you could put it up for me if you can find it for me. Aiden Doherty here. Aiden, really appreciate the super chat. And he says, hi guys, hopefully we can get Romero. He's just spreading a bit of positivity, a bit of good vibes about Romero. Maybe hopefully, Daniel Levy or someone maybe, under the institutions might just be saying, by the way, Levy, apparently you said to Romano, you gave the green light, apparently the green light's up. We're supposed to be already having him through the door. So let's just give maybe a big friendly reminder, to the boys upstairs. But Aiden, I really do appreciate the positivity and spreading the good vibes on Romero there. But Dermot Moyles, really, Dermot, you're way too generous to us, really way too generous to us. And everybody, please, please, please check out Tottenham Tantrum, just for any of the other Spurs news. If you just want a concentrated news source on Twitter, please check them out. And Dermot here, he's saying, if we think we're a big club, we need to act like one and spend like one on good, decent players. Do you all think we wasted the Bale money? Maybe I'll ask you guys quickly about that later. Also happy for Skipp to play well. I was really happy for Skipp to play well, to be honest. He was creating, maybe a tent down there for me. He was honestly beautiful on the pitch today. There was plenty of things that I thought Skipp did that maybe we haven't ever seen Winks do for this team, even against the likes of Leyton Orient and Colchester. And maybe when it comes to the big club mentality, I would love us to be, a big club mentality when it came to spending. But to be honest, we just have one that, is a bit too frugal, a bit too scared to maybe spend big like the other ones. So that's maybe just the scenario we're in, unfortunately, Dermot. But as well, do you think we wasted the Bale money? To be honest, yes, but we got in Christian and it was absolutely beautiful to get in Christian. And maybe I would probably go through it all over again just to have Christian.
Just on this, just quickly, because I do want to get up Deadeye Mike's comment, then we have one more to get to. Dermot, look, I agree with you. We have to start acting like a big club, spending like a big club. But that also applies to the fan base, because we have to demand they act like a big club. We have to stop making excuses for these Deadwood players all the time. Players that are coming in, taking 4 or 5 years to settle in, and we still make excuses for them. I agree, but the thing is, if we want the club to act like a big club, the fan base has to adapt the mentality of a big club mentality to get the board to act like a big club. We have to do it, So look, it goes two ways. I 100% agree with you, but I've been saying this all along. I want Tottenham to act like a big club. I do, but the rest of the fan base has to come with me, and whoever else thinks like that, and start demanding. Start making the club act like a big club. Let's stop making the excuses for the players. They come in, they don't perform in 2 years, get them out the door. Stop letting them sit here for 7, 8 years. So look, us fans do have a part to play in that, Dermot. But I fully agree with you, and thank you for the support, my man.
I agree with you, and that's why my biggest issue was. Sorry, Jack. My biggest issue was with the whole Don Paratici. If we want to be a big club, we don't start calling him Don fucking Paratici. And I know there's nothing against Paratici. This is about the fan base. We don't start calling him Don Paratici because he's bought a fucking number 2 goalkeeper on loan and a 20-year-old winger, a player we've never heard of till about 3 weeks ago. So you're right, spot on. Fan base, fucking calm it. Don't stop jizzing your pants over 2 fucking signings. Bring a Romero in and I'll jizz with you.
100%.
I love it, Bobby. Deadeye Mike here. Deadeye Mike here, going back to the general super chat from Deadeye Mike. Deadeye Mike saying, I don't understand Bryan Gil deal. We don't need a left winger. Let me put it this way. Bryan Gil for 25 million and Eric Lamela or Jules Koundé for 25 million and Davinson Sanchez. Deadeye Mike, unfortunately, I'm just going to have to break this down for you a bit here. I will say for Jules Koundé didn't want to come. So as much as I would have loved Jules Koundé to come, as much as all of us would have wanted Jules Koundé to come, he didn't want to come. He is a human being at the end of the day. We can't just force him, to come to Tottenham. And that was pretty much the case there. He got the deal that maybe he wanted in going to Chelsea. So, it's just, we can't force him. That I think would have been a far better deal, but it's just, we couldn't do it. We couldn't pull it off. There's not much you can say with Paratici there. With Hill, we kind of explained earlier, maybe with Hill, even in the last 5 games for Eibar, he actually did play off the right. He did play as an inverted winger, and he's only 20 years old as well. And he had his big full season at Eibar. He was kind of playing a Dwight McNeil role kind of over there for Eibar off the left. Let's see what he can do maybe for us coming off the right. I'm pretty sure he should be able to learn how to be able to play on that. Even Bob said it. He's going to be a Premier League player. He's going to have to learn to be able to play on both sides. So that's sorry for Mike maybe going a bit off on there, but I will say that's just how I have to break it down for you in terms of the way the deal went. I would have loved to have Jules Koundé, just to be honest. Mari. I'm just like you. But Mari from that Spurs episode, But Mari, sorry, David.
No, go on, sorry. I was just going to say we're getting backed up here, so you just take them, I'll thank them, and then we'll.
No problem. Mari from that Spurs episode saying option A, Romero with the surprise. Option B, Connor Cody of Wolves Premier League experience. All-star panel. You guys are great. Love the show. Really appreciate it, Mari. Honestly, really do appreciate that. I do believe, Bob, you even hosted him recently. So please check out that episode. Option B, maybe if it included Connor Cody, let's say, instead of Zuma, and maybe we got the Tomiyasu and Milinkovic as well. Not maybe the worst, signings, but it is a bit Levy kind of going about that. It is kind of the cheap route, I might add. But option A for Romero with a bit of a surprise, maybe a bit of sugar on top with another signing would be absolutely glorious. Maybe a Romero with a Milinkovic, maybe a Romero with a Cody. That would be a bit sexy. Let's go with something like that. I would say option A with a bit of whipped cream on top.
Just quickly on Mari, he did his first ever live stream last night. So big up. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out. Big up, Mari.
Big up, Mari.
Thank you
quickly,
very much,
lads. Option A or option B? This is for all of us. So just option A or option B?
Option A.
Option A
for me too. Big up, Mari. Appreciate that, and good luck with your endeavors on YouTube, my man.
And Brian C with a very, 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 very generous super chat as well. And he's saying, cracking stream as always, lads. Here's towards the trip for you, lads, to Ireland for a watch along. Jack, get a match in at the lane on the way. Need a statement signing like Romero to show proper intent. Act like a big club. Brian C, word for word for word. Absolutely brilliant. To be honest as well, I can't wait to be over. I think it's going to be pretty much official. I should be over, across the pond. Around March time. So that's maybe when to be expecting me. And absolutely that Irish watch along, for the future just sounds epic. And I'd love to be able to meet you as well, Brian C. You've been way, way too kind to us. I'd love to put a name to the generous face. And as well, maybe I do agree with you. We do need to start acting like a big club, like plenty have said, Brian C. And then I do want a statement signing as well, like you're saying. But yeah.
I just want to say the guy is a true legend. And look, don't worry. Me and Matt will organise something for the Irish fans for a watch along. Maybe we organise somewhere, a hotel where we can all meet up for the day, get there early. Me and Matt will get set up, all have a good few drinks, get well oiled before the game like us Irish do. Enjoy the game and have a right one after it as well, Brian. Let me know if you're up for that, because I definitely am, and we'll definitely get something going. I appreciate the support for the channel, man. You're 2-2 kind, Brian. Absolute legend. And look, like I said, you're ever down in Kildare again, let me know, and we'll go for a pint, my man.
Absolutely, Brian C. You always know who to call when it comes to David when you want to watch a game, and who to join. And also, Brian C. Again, I really do appreciate it. Very, very kind of you. Very generous of you. And OG Garrett, love the name, by the way, Garrett. And he says, gents, is there still any chance on the Koundé Sanchez swap? Koundé and Romero gives us a good foundation in the back. Winks out for $4. A Botman, a left-sided center back. It's hard to tell what the last part, but to be honest, I'd take him out for £4 as well for Winksy. That's probably what Paratici's even trying to sell to Everton at the moment. They're not even taking that. But the Koundé deal, sad to inform, he just doesn't want to come to us. It could have easily happened, but if Koundé just didn't want to come to us, so he just couldn't take advantage of it.
You put it into perspective, innit? You're in a Conference League, Champions League winners. It's no brainer.
Yeah. Even weirdly, maybe even just to tell people, apparently I saw something about Koundé. He has some weird thing where he even actually has become addicted to winning, where he actually, has to speak to therapists about losing. So apparently that would have been, apparently a bad thing for us, for him coming here. So
he might have had a mental breakdown.
Yeah, I don't understand. I couldn't even understand how he understood that, Switzerland loss. I don't even know how he's taking it, to be honest. He might need a full year off.
OG Garrett, I like your thinking with Sven Botman, my man. Look, he's a player I'd like to come in left-footed centre back as well. He absolutely brilliant signing. Look, I did see rumours that Spurs don't think he's ready for the Premier League. Look, I think he would be. I think he'd do well. But look, I like your thinking, and thank you so much for the support, everybody there. thank you so much for the support. You don't understand how much it really does help the channel. It really helps me and Jack, and it's great to see that you're enjoying these streams. Like I said, make sure you do smash the like on it, subscribe if you're new, and make sure you get all the boys' social medias below, and make sure you follow them too. The link for Bob Spur TV is below as well. Make sure you get over and smash the subscribe on that. And look, keep getting the support in, keep getting it in. It's absolutely insane, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Really do appreciate it. Keep getting your comments in the chat. We know that everybody's in a position to do it, and as always, to our agreement to everybody, we will get everybody's comment up on stream as much as we can. So don't worry about that. But look, thank you again, and Jack, let's crack on with more questions, man.
Absolutely. And again, I just really want to thank OG Garrett, really want to thank Brian C, really want to thank Dermot as well, who's been very generous to us. Thank you, Dermot. And also thank you, Mari, from that Spurs episode as well. He, again, like Bob said, just did his live stream last night. So please check him out. Thank you all for being so generous to us. We're going to move on to the next question here, lads. And this one maybe is, a bit of an interesting one because, Paratici and Nuno have both apparently stated that they do not really have plans for Sissoko and Winks in the future. But obviously moving them on is a bit, it's a bit harder than maybe some might make it out to be. And with maybe the rumors with Everton, maybe with a French move for Sissoko, it's actually possible that they could actually be shipped out this season. But do you maybe see, maybe Nuno filling in those vacancies of Sissoko and Winks with maybe Niall John or maybe Harvey White, or do you maybe see someone coming in from the transfer market to fill in those vacancies?
There's I got one, mate, if you want.
No, go on.
I was going to say there's a fine line, isn't there? I mean, where we do need to move on Deadwood, but then where's the line between selling the Deadwood to the detriment of numbers in our squad, regardless of how shit these players are? I personally think they should go. But it's only I'm asking it because big up. I can't remember who it was. They tweeted me this question. They said if we moved all the Deadwood out and we got no one in, or say I think you mentioned 4. If we got 4 or 5 Deadwood people out, but we've got no players in, regardless of the quality of the players that have gone out, does that make us a weaker squad? And it made me think, and it probably does, with regard to the numbers, the quality. Obviously, we could lose all the shit quality as much as we want. There's a fine line, isn't there? Do we trust the youngsters to come in and replace the Winks and Sissoko? Will they falter because of their lack of experience? So there's a fine line. I'd sell all the twats.
What I'd say to that, Bob, is just quickly, what I'd say to that quickly on that comment or that tweet is it's called Deadwood for a reason, because they're not running, they're not playing, they're not trying.
Yeah.
So you get rid of them. I would rather bring in a youngster who has a point to prove, who's willing to run, who's willing to try, and who's willing to die for the cause. And that alone will offer more to the team than what then Deadwood players were, because they're Deadwood for a reason.
But do you bring? His question was, do we bring in 5 youngsters into the squad because of 5 Deadwood? Personally, I agree with you. I think there is, but there could be a big risk attached to it. It was a really good question, and it did make you think. How much of a Deadwood do we take out without bringing any in before we start risking the numbers, not the quality, but the numbers? I agree with you. I'd have a fucking 10 youngsters in who die for the club. But it was an interesting question, and big up. I will get the name, and I will big you up. So
you have to replace, the vacancies, and sometimes there are not maybe too many young players, even to fill them in maybe adequately. Danny, what would you do if these 2 vacancies came up in the squad? Would you maybe look to promote someone like Harvey White and maybe Niall John, or would you maybe look to the transfer market to fill in those holes? Or maybe you're kind of with Bob, where it's kind of a bit scary maybe to let out all this Deadwood all at one time.
Tango Mike, by the way. Tango Mike it was. Big up.
I'm going to just say a couple things. I know before I answer this question, I saw Will McKenzie was saying about Toby, we sold him for 3 million. I don't think that's true. I think that's a load of shit. Because there's a website, one of our friends in the Spurs family, I think it's Stuart Gallop maybe, that basically when the Premier League deal is official and finalized, they have to send the reports to a specific place, and there's a website that actually has the official transfer fees of how much a player goes for, because it's all for legal reasons, right? Oh. It's all paperwork. It's all on the paperwork, and the official fee was a lot higher. It was more closer to what was first reported.
13,
I don't know if it was, it might have not. Yeah, it was. They were saying 13, but they were saying between 11 and 13 million potentially. It might have been 13, but there's no way Toby would have been sold for 3 million euros. I can guarantee you that. Not in a million years. Not in a million years. Or 3 years. He had 2 years left on his contract. There's no way he would have gone for that little. Not when you're trying to rebuild a squad. There's no way. But anyway, for my answer, if you sell, for me, we're already going to promote one player. People forgetting Skipp. Sorry, no, Winks. I can get that cut out. Sorry. Skipp, man, is going to replace Winks. So you've already got replacement for him. So you get him out, bring the money in, you get Sissoko out, and you add some more money to that, and you bring in one player. That's all you need. You need to bring in one player. And for me, it's got to be a player who is a bit more of a defensive-minded player, but who's also not afraid to go forward and get stuck in, because you're going to need someone, because you've got to think about it, right? If Skipp or Højbjerg get injured, or they both get injured at the same time, we're fucked. We haven't got anyone who's going to play a defensive role, because Tanguy can't do that, and Lo Celso hasn't shown me that he can do that either, right? So you're going to need someone else who can do that kind of job, right? Who's going to fight, who's going to give it all, who's got stamina, who never stops running. You're going to need a player, and it's going to be a youngish player who's coming into it. There's talks about Renato Sanchez. There's talks about other players. For me, that would be my dream, Kessié, but he's not going to come because he's about to sign a new contract, and he's already said that he wants to stay there forever and whatever. All right, fair enough. If we could get him, I know we're not going to get him. If we could, my next option would be Gravenberch at
the baller.
Gravenberch Ajax. He would be my next option.
Young,
right? Young player. Or Zachariah, yeah, he's another good option. Yeah. Or you've got other players like Renato Sanchez. Yeah, Moura. But the thing is, David, he's more attacking minded. You're gonna need a defensive player. Someone like the best player would have. Why? Because if Skipp, let me tell you this.
We didn't have a replacement for Højbjerg last season. He barely got injured. You only need one.
Yeah, but listen, if one of them gets injured, Skipp gets injured, or Højbjerg gets injured, or they both get injured, who do you put in the team? Who's going to play their positions? No one.
But you could have said that last season. We only had Højbjerg to play that position.
But we were lucky Højbjerg was injured.
We have Skipp to do it.
We will need a rest.
Two of them aren't really going to be injured at the same time. If that happens, that's just a freak accident.
But Dave, you can't play them both for every single game. You can't play them both every single game. It's impossible. And if you want to,
but you're not going to play them every single game. They're not going to play the Europa Conference League. They're not going to play League Cup early rounds, FA Cup early rounds. That's why we're bringing through the youngsters. That's what we were speaking about the youngsters for.
Yeah, but one of them will have to play. When you get into the latter stage of these competitions, you're going to have to start playing the big boys, right? And if they're playing week in, week out in the Premier League, as well as they're going to start playing the latter stages of those competitions, you're going to need someone who can give them game time or give them rest time. Someone who's at that quality or similar quality.
That's where management comes into it. That's where you play either Højbjerg in the holding role or Skipp, right? And then you play an Ndombele or a Lo Celso and a Dele Alli. So for me, like you also have Niall John there who's going to play the cup game. So when it does come round, if we do get to the latter stages of the cup and we are fighting for a thing in the league, that's where you either play Højbjerg or Skipp, where Skipp played today. And then that's where Lo Celso and then Ndombele and then Ali all come into it, where they're all fighting for them positions.
Yeah, I get it.
I wouldn't get anyone dilly-dally. We do need, if we do bring in a midfielder, he has to be worth it. He has to be worth it. He has to make the squad stronger, doesn't he? So if he does come,
If you get rid of Winks and Sissoko, one has to come in. For me personally, I think it needs to be a more defensive-minded player, someone like a Kessié, someone like a Gravenberch who can get the ball forward and who can also contribute towards assisting on goals. They can play box to box, they can get forward, they can create things, but they're an engine. We need a fucking engine in that team, because for me, if they do decide to play Skipp and fucking Højbjerg together, for me, they need someone else to rotate, because you're right, David. I agree with you. They're not always going to play together every single game, right? And they are going to rotate them. They are going to use the youngsters in those leagues. But if one of them gets injured, it is dangerous territory. You need someone else who can also come in, because Tanguy and Lo Celso, they can't do the defensive work.
Yeah, Bob, I feel like do you feel like you want to get any comments in on this one? Do you feel like we should look for the transfer market? Should we look to the youth? I know you kind of chimed in, but I feel like you haven't gotten a good thought in on that.
No. I agree with, to an extent, with both. I think David's spot on. We're aware that Højbjerg, he looked knackered towards the end of our last season, didn't we? And we could have done with an extra player. We can't rely with on the likes of Sissoko and Winks, and we're hoping that they move on. I do believe with Danny, we do need one more midfielder in. Doesn't necessarily have to be an out-and-out defensive minded. Doesn't have to be an out-and-out attacker. Just someone in the middle who can give us a bit of solidity and a bit good on the ball. So but I agree with David. Whoever comes in needs to improve the squad, because if it's not, then we might as well just play the youngsters. And
100%.
So I agree. I think number-wise, if we're moving on to Premier League midfielders, although it's questionable, I do believe we probably just need one.
Definitely.
But that would be probably bottom of the list with regards to the players we'll bring in, or near the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. Great answers from everybody there. Absolutely great answers there. And to be honest, maybe what I might say is I personally think we should actually maybe upgrade to the likes of Harvey White and Niall John. Maybe bring in one player. I would say maybe a cheap one, maybe one you could actually take a bit of a shot on, kind of player as well. Maybe even, I feel like it's kind of a bit too late for some of these kind of free transfer contract situations. So it's probably someone that we're just going to have to bring in maybe on the cheap, maybe in case Kieran from Let's Talk Spurs is listening, maybe that Wataru Endo guy from Stuttgart might be the one, but that one is a bit too hipster. That one's a bit too fluffy drinky, probably to bring into the club. But yeah, what are you saying, Danny? Yeah, what's up?
I was going to ask you, right? What about Weston McKennie?
I mean, but he just completed the move,
Did he? Juventus. Yeah, but he just completed the move. But if they could get someone like him, do you think he'd be a good player?
Someone like him, I think, would be a great player.
Even him.
But I mean, we can't get him, so someone like him, would be a good player.
Well, we're talking about bringing in a Weston McKennie, right? Who
we could? There's no way anyone's
talking about a
Gravenberch,
right? Who I think is tremendous, and I think would be brilliant at Tottenham.
Yeah.
Right, but he's young enough. Why wouldn't you just let Niall John take that spot to fill in? Because you bring in another player, you're going to hamper John's development. You're going to hamper White's development. There's players like that. So for me, you can get John, because that fifth or sixth midfielder, like that guy that you're on about bringing in, because we already have Højbjerg, Skipp, Dele, Lo Celso, and Ndombele. He's only going to be playing the odd cup game here or there, so you may as well let John do that.
Yeah,
who I wouldn't mind just for move forward. Just it doesn't have to be a certain position, but I just want to see one experienced player come in, just for the squad, just for the old head.
Yeah.
So someone like I know we've missed Toby, and he's probably he's gone, and he probably wasn't as vocal. But I think Silva at Chelsea did make a bit of a difference.
Of course
in that defense. And I'd love to see. I don't know who's out there. Jack, you probably know more than me, mate. But I don't know who's out there, experienced head-wise, who could come in and, if we are going to play all these youngsters, just give them a bit of an elder head to look at and look at experience. I don't know who's out there, but I wouldn't mind seeing that. That again would be at the bottom of the pile. But someone with an older head, with a bit of experience, with a bit of name behind them, to come in and say, right, boys, calm, let's go ahead. I think that would make a good difference, a bit of a difference within the squad, depending on who it would be.
Yeah, and to be honest, Bob, it is really hard to find it. Maybe just quickly before we move on, maybe I might answer and say, maybe Brozovic would be that one. Brozovic from Inter Milan. I think his contract's up in 2022. Inter Milan are kind of like Barcelona. They're having trouble even paying most of their players, on wages. I do believe even Brozovic is a bit unsettled there. He could be signing a new contract. Maybe he did sign a new contract, but I did know that his contract was going up in 2022. So that could be the one that maybe, would be answering what Bob was talking about there. And Bob, I really agree with you. Maybe if we were to go for one, if we were to kind of go against maybe what David was saying about, just promoting the youth and maybe sign more of an experienced head for these latter end of the games, what maybe even Danny was saying too, like when we reach the end of these competitions, we are going to need the best players we have available, and they're going to be playing week in, week out. So maybe someone like Brozovic, I would say, would be a good cheap deal. Because it needs to be cheap too. It needs to be cheap. It can't be. It has to be like a free deal, free transfer, whatever it may be. It has to be something like that.
Yeah.
For sure. And guys, we've been kind of maybe haven't really gotten around to him yet, but with how great maybe Skippy has played, do you think that maybe he could be like the Thomas Delaney to what Højbjerg had in the tournament? Thomas Delaney from Dortmund really brought out the best out of Højbjerg. He allowed Højbjerg to venture forward. He allowed Højbjerg to practically be the most creative midfielder in the whole tournament. Do you maybe see when Skipp plays next to Højbjerg, that there could be this kind of like interesting relationship between the two where one goes forward, the other stays back, and then maybe even we might see a bit more of a creative Højbjerg with Skipp playing next to him. What do you guys think? Yeah. Is there someone like Skipp? Is there maybe even someone else like Tanguy even next season who could actually help get the best out of our Viking Højbjerg? Or is it the manager? Could Nuno just get the best out of Højbjerg next season? How do you think we can get the best out of Højbjerg next season in terms of his creativity?
Everyone. So Tanguy needs his fitness up, right? That's the given. If he gets his fitness up, he's already a level above what he was last season. That's no doubt. For me, his fitness is stopping him from being one of the best players in the world, like midfielders in the world, in his position. He is just so unbelievable. And every single player who's seen him play a training at the training ground, Gareth Bale, all of them, they've all said he's one of the best they've ever seen in training. He's unbelievable. We've seen in patches how good this guy can be, and he can be phenomenal, right? Yeah. He gets his fitness up, he's going to be one of the best. So he's already going to be able to do a lot more running, a lot more. He'll be focused more. He'll be doing a lot more. And I think if you have Skipp alongside Højbjerg, I think it gives them two, if they're playing in a free, say Højbjerg, Skipp, and Ndombele, yeah, if they're playing in a free, it gives Højbjerg a bit more license to go forward, knowing that Skipp's going to be going back. Or they'll be a bit like how Declan Rice and Souček were last season, where if one of them went forward, the other one would sit back. And if the other one went forward, the other one would sit back. And that's how I think Højbjerg and Skipp are going to play, because Skipp wants to image his game on Højbjerg the way he is. I mean, he already looks like he's the next Højbjerg. Do you know what I mean? So to have two of them there, it's going to be fun. It's going to be very interesting to see. So I'm looking forward to that, really.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Sorry, it's just that last comment was, a bit shocking there. But with Højbjerg, Bob, we saw that bit of that creative side, and great answer, by the way, Danny. We saw that creative side to him. Do you think maybe Skippy can maybe bring out that creative side to him? Because I feel like we were kind of missing it, maybe last season. Do you think that we might be able to see it a bit more this upcoming season? Højbjerg being a bit more adventurous, being a bit more creative?
Yeah, I think so, mate. Because I think in Skipp, he just looks intelligent, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's the kind of player you look at him and think, he's got a bit of brain.
You look at Winks and you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, you're thinking, yeah. I think with Skippy, he just looks like an intelligent player. So I do think he'll look at Højbjerg and think, wow. And he'll probably learn from him as well. I think he will need to learn from. You can't not but learn from someone like Højbjerg.
The Viking.
That's it, mate. We need to, and I think they'll complement each other so well. So,
yeah.
But I do think Nuno's got a big role to play, because Nuno will need to play Skipp. He'll need to put faith in Skipp to partner Højbjerg. He could take the easy option out and play someone with a bit more Premier League experience, i.e., a Winks. He could do that, but we hope Nuno does his bit by saying to Skipp, right, you are going to partner Højbjerg, captain in disguise for this season. You two are going to be our midfield general. So I think it's going to be a combination of both. It's going to be Nuno to put faith in Skippy, and Skippy to look at Højbjerg and say, right, I want to be like him when I grow up.
I think we all probably say that when we saw Højbjerg, and hopefully to the younger players as well. I do hope they're saying about Højbjerg, because these days I'm a bit worried that the likes of Pogba and other players are kind of influencing them a bit too much. David, I know you're going to love this question, and I know you're probably eager to answer it. Do you think that we might see a bit more creative Højbjerg next season, a bit more of an adventurous Højbjerg next season? And then as well, David, do you maybe think that it could be someone in the squad that might bring out this creative Højbjerg? Do you think it'd be Nuno that will bring out this Højbjerg? How do you think it can happen that we can get the best out of Højbjerg?
Look, in terms of Nuno, the manager has to be able to give him the license to get forward. Right? That has to be allowed by the manager. But in terms of getting more out of Højbjerg, a manager can only do so much with the players, right? A manager can set the team up the way he wants to set them up. He can send them out there. But ultimately, what wins your leagues, what wins your titles, what wins your games is having a partnership, having a telepathic communication with a partner. And that's on the field. That then becomes down to the players. And when they walk over the white line, everything is on them. A lot of things are on them. So for me, look, you have to have the players in around you. Last year, Højbjerg was being pulled ragged, left, right, you name it. He was being ran ragged. Look, for me, I think he has to have that relationship on the pitch, and he will have it. with Ollie Skipp. But look, even if it's a Højbjerg playing where Ollie Skipp is playing and Lo Celso and Ndombele or Lo Celso and Ali playing beside him, he just needs to have that partnership. But what will help him is last season we played a 4-2-3-1 a lot of the times, right? Now, when you have an Ndombele or a Lo Celso playing in that two beside Højbjerg, it's not going to work because they vacate that position and venture forward, right?
Right.
But what will work is if you play a tree and play Højbjerg in the middle of the tree, deeper, and play your two either side of them and allow them to push forward. Because that means Højbjerg's in the middle of the pitch. Anything he can cover the left, he can cover the right in quicker time because he's in the right position. He can protect the back four as well because he's in the right position. But then with the work rate Ali is doing, it's clear to see that we could end up playing that tree because Dele Alli's been asked to work back and he tracked back today. A lot of times he held back down on the left-hand side. So for me, and Niall John done the same on the right-hand side. So for me, I genuinely think it's up to partnerships on the pitch. Like I said, a manager can coach them during the week. A manager can send them out with what he wants them to do. Yeah. But ultimately, when you step over that white line, it's down to your relationship with players. And it's up to players to help you make you look better by doing the basics. Yeah. Passing the ball to you, helping you out defensively so you're not being stretched and your gas tank, your energy in your gas tank isn't getting lower and lower because you're mopping up for players. So in terms of that, look, I do think it's a slight bit of both, but it's more so on building up that partnership with your fellow players on the pitch. And any team that wins a title or cups, they all have that telepathic communication with whoever they're playing beside.
Wow, fantastic answers from all of you. If you guys have, any maybe last comments, maybe on this, because maybe.
Yeah, Harris is a legend and subscribe.
Big up. This is the last question before we move on to, the extra time quickly, guys. So maybe you saved your best for this one. Maybe, this is the one where you do kind of, give your last thoughts on some of these players because, the season is fast approaching and maybe this is where we do give our piece on these players. Who do you maybe put your bets on by improving the most by January? We've said this a lot with a lot of these players, like, give him till January, then I'm going to make my decision on where he should go next or what we do with him. Which player do you think actually might step up the most? Which player do you think might be a focal point in the side? Which player do you maybe would put your bet on if you were a betting man in terms of, who might step up the most by January? In terms of these three.
Yeah, everyone knows what my feelings are towards Tanguy. I absolutely, I really hope. I know you asked who you expect. I expect.
Yeah, there's a bit of want too.
I know. But for me, I don't know if I can expect. I expect playing for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I expect all of them.
Yeah, this is the other thing. Maybe I forgot to say this, Bob. Is it possible that all three? Yeah. Is it possible that all three can maybe step up and improve significantly?
I expect it. I expect them all to push on, do better under Nuno, take on his ideas, and challenge, get us challenging for the top four position. Because you know what I'm like. I expect us to finish top four, as delusional as that is. But for me, who I want to, Ndombele, mate. I absolutely think the guy is amazing, and I've not seen anyone do stuff with a football since I used to see Gaza live.
Yeah,
and that's a big accolade. He does stuff with a football that I've seen. Mate, is absolutely amazing, and I really hope, because we have got a world class, easy one of the most easily said words, and the words so easily attached to some players, but I believe in Ndombele. We have got a world class player who can become the best midfielder. I know it sounds like a broken record. He can become the best midfielder in the world. Gets his head right, gets his belly right. Mate, he can piss all over Pogba. I honestly believe that.
Yeah. Easy.
Player Pogba is. So it's up to him, and I'm gunning for him more than Bergwijn, believe it or not. I'm gunning for him. Just hope he just sorts that out, sorts his belly out, and we could potentially have the best player, best midfielder in the world.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I absolutely love that. Me personally, if I were to put any bets on it, I kind of like what a lot of the chat is saying. They're saying Gio is the one they would put their bet on. I think that's a safe bet. I think that is a safe bet. I'm going to go with Tanguy, though, to be a bit spicy. Danny, what are you going to go with? Maybe it could be all three, though. Maybe you might say all three actually might step up dramatically But then by saying that, you would say, it's like a horse race. You're kind of putting a bet on 3 horses instead of 1.
So I'm gonna give you 2 takes on this. Yeah. So who I
not
want...
option B, option A and option B. Fucking hell.
No. Do you know what?
You're probably going to give Bob a heart attack. Can't take any more options.
Bob, prepare for this, man.
It's all Bob.
Yeah, fucking Bob. Look, I echo what Bob says. Yeah, I'm the same. I feel exactly the same with Ndombele. He's the one I want to show more. But do you know what? Right. Lately, I've got a funny feeling. I feel like the player who's going to shock us more than anyone is Dele Alli. I really do. I don't know why. I just think as much as I've been saying about Dele Alli, I don't want him to stay at Tottenham and all this kind of stuff. I just think there's something there. He might give us. I'm not saying he's going to be the Dele Alli of old, like of 18 goals. I'm not saying he's going to be that Dele. I don't think he's going to be that Dele, but I think he's going to be a lot better than he was last season in terms of.
Which isn't hard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he might get those numbers where he was
just
getting.
Admit it, Dan. You love his hair. Just admit it.
Oh, mate. Do you know what I want to do with his hair? Babe. No. Do you know what, man? What I've wanted to do to Dele Alli, and you know this, David, ever since I've seen him, I wanted to turn him around upside down and use him as a mop up my kitchen. I just wanted to use him as a mop, mate. Just carry him by the legs and go like, there's that blue strip in his hair. I want to give you a green one, mate, and a yellow one. I want to give you a red one as well. Just get that dirt from my kitchen floor in there and just mop it up for me. That's what I want to do with him. But do you know what, mate? Like, yeah, like I just think he could shock us more than anyone. Even though I would probably say I don't want it to happen because it would just say to everyone that he's wasted 2 to 3 years of his career because he couldn't be fucked. And that makes me even more angry about him. That he's just been a lazy prick the last couple of years. But I think it could happen. I think that one could shock us more than anyone.
We'll only become a better team if Ali produces, though, isn't it?
Guys? We will. But it'll just piss me off. Yeah. It'll piss me off that he's waited 2 to 3 years for this.
Yeah.
Wait, we've now come to David here. David, who are you going to be putting the bet on? Is it going to be all 3 that are going to step up dramatically? Is it going to be Gio? Is it going to be Tanguy? Is it going to be Dele? Who are you going to be betting on to do it by January?
Do you know what? In a way, you'd say all 3 of them. World Cup's only around the corner. They want to be performing to make that World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So, and plus, like Bob said, we're fucking Tottenham Hotspur. We should be demanding they perform. They should be performing week in, week out. They're not at Burnley. They're not at Crystal Palace. They're at the big boys now. They have to be performing. We should be demanding all 3 of them to be performing realistically. Look, with the Celso, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sold. I still can't get the image of him running the ball out against Leeds. I cannot get it out of my head. Honestly, if he was playing rugby, they would have been applauding him for what he done. Right? But it's fucking football we're playing. So look, for me, I can't get that out of my head. And just with the Celso, I just think he'll always be that bit reckless with the ball. I really do. I just think he'll always I don't think he'll get the composure, to be honest with you. Look, I know Messi praises him a lot at Argentina and stuff like that, but he's playing with fucking Messi. You know what I mean? He's not playing with him at Tottenham. And for me, look, I'm just not sold on the Celso. Dele Alli, before today, I would have said, look, the guy, you know, he's been working hard all pre-season. What has he done? Today, he actually had a good game, right? What still pisses me off with Dele Alli is he's still doing what like, look, I know we have a different manager now, but he's still doing what Mourinho took him out the team for, which is he's sloppy passing at times. Well, like, look, today he had some amazing passes, but then at times, like, you know, it's just so sloppy, so lazy. It's like, lazy. Be more consistent with the ball. You know, if you, like, you're trying to compete with Jack Grealish to get in the team. So when you get them opposition, like them positions like Jack Grealish gets into, you have to be more productive, or you're not going to get into the England team, right? So he has to up that. I do think he has a chance of turning it around. But the one I'm pinning my hopes on is Ndombele, again, for 3 reasons. One, he's had a newborn child. I might give him a kick up the arse and might want to make him be the best player he's ever been. You know what I mean? To lead a good example of a life for his kid and always trying your best and everything else. B, the World Cup showing the corner. I bet you he is hurt Musa Sissoko went ahead of him. So you have that. And C, I'm relying on Ronald McDombele to be fit and become Ndombele. You know, I'm relying on him to get fit this season. I truly do believe he will. I do think he will.
Same here.
This, like I said before, this new fitness coach, he's supposed to be world-class, world-renowned. Get working with Tanguy. Look, he's already showed improvement since he's got here, that from not being on the pitch to getting on the pitch, you know what I mean, and providing little glimpses of what he can do. So, look, although it's took too long, with him, you get him fit this season. Hopefully we don't see him running over, guzzling for water after 2 minutes, you know what I mean, and dragging his arse behind him 5 minutes later after he's come by on the screen. Hopefully he loses that way and becomes Ndombele and stops being Ronald McDombele. And hopefully Dele Alli, stops being Dele Marley and turns into the Dele Alli we know. But look, I would say all three because of a World Cup year. But I would be hedging my bets on Ronald McDombele for sure.
Interesting there, David. Yeah, Bobby.
I think as well, guys, that it's really important for him that he starts doing 90 minutes. Because if we're relying on a player just to go on for 70 minutes, you're already handicapped by one substitute. We shouldn't be playing players with knowing full well that we'll have to make a contingency plan after 70 minutes, 80 minutes, because that's hampering us by one player. You know, we're keeping back a substitute because we know Ndombele ain't going to last 9 minutes. So hence the reason why fitness is so important. He needs to start showing 90-minute performances. That's a biggie, because a 70-minute performance, regardless of how good he is, a 70-minute performance every time played for Tottenham, unfortunately, just wouldn't sit right with me.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I kind of
just
agree
quickly,
with that.
just quickly before we do go into the next round, look, the next round is a quick fire. Is like quick fire questions, guys. Make sure you have smashed the like. Make sure you get your super chats in, or even a donation if you've enjoyed the show tonight. You know, we will be going for about another 10 minutes. And like I said, make sure you do get over and follow all the boys on social media. You don't even need to type anything in. It's all in the description below. We have it done for you. Just get over there and give them a follow. And thank you for your support so far. We still have over 343 watching after 2 hours, which is insane. We haven't dropped below 300 all stream. Absolute madness. So thank you so much for everybody tuning in. I hope you really are enjoying this show. But look, let's get into it, Jacko. Let's crack on with extra time. Or did you want to have your say on Dele, Gio, and Ronald McDombele, Jacko?
I think I did give my answer. I will say I did think what was said by Danny was important, is that if Dele were to show up, you know, it would be a bit betraying, because like it's just frustrating to see him be able to do that. It's just frustrating to see him turn it on and turn it off, you know, kind of player. I just don't really like those kind of players, if you ask me. And as well, you know, I might say, you know, with David bringing up the Gio incident on Leeds, you know, it really is just a painted, horrible memory in all of our hearts and in all of our minds as well. So I'm going to have to answer with the Tanguy there. And I think I did give that earlier anyways. So moving on to extra time, guys, with extra time, you know, people that might be new to the channel here, extra time is where we do give a bit more quicker answers, you know, kind of just, you know, lighthearted, you know, easy answer kind of situations. But please feel free to, you know, to give your answers to these extra time questions in a super chat, in a comment, however you feel like to do it. I personally love to see what you guys have to say on a lot of these questions. And especially tonight, everyone's been super engaged. So I really do appreciate that. But for the first extra time question, if you were a center half last season for Spurs and you had the choice of lining up alongside Moon Boots or GPS Sanchez, who would you partner with? This one, personally, maybe for you guys have a bit of a moment to think about it.
No, I know my answer.
It would have to be, unfortunately, GPS, just because even though I consider myself to be a bit of a pacey, you know, man myself, it would be nice just to have someone, pacing alongside me. He would be a bit on the floor a lot, you know, eating the grass, smelling the grass. But, you know, maybe in those moments I can try to cover for him.
All you have to do with Sanchez, tell him what to fucking do, and he'll probably do a decent job.
Just tell him to turn left, tell him to turn right. You know,
if he has someone telling him, like if you look at Dier can't tell anyone to do anything because he doesn't know what he's fucking doing. He's an idiot, right? When you had Jan there, he actually did a decent job when his first season. And when he wasn't playing with Jan, it was shit. It was a lot of times inconsistent. And I think you get someone like David in there, or someone like me, or someone who would tell him what to do. Someone like all of us actually tell him what to do. He might do a fucking job. but he hasn't got anyone commanding him saying, you fucking get there, you fucking marking man, yeah. The defender's coming on the left of you, he's coming on the right of you. Go to him. Like, he doesn't have that. And when he hasn't got that, he's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And that's why they call him GPS Sanchez. He doesn't know what the fuck he is.
I tell you, for me,
yeah, David.
Look, I would rather play alongside GPS. And let me tell you why.
Yeah.
With Dier, you don't know what the fucker's going to do, right?
No.
With GPS, you can say to him, with GPS, it's easy. You just hang back a couple of yards because you know any ball that comes over the top, he can't deal with, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you just drop back a few yards, compensate for that. And then you say to him, when you get the ball, just give me the ball. Don't try and pass it out. Just give it to me and I'll do it. If you were to play alongside Dier would just like, spray a 60-yard ball into the River Thames, wait for it to be fished out and come back, right? And then you're sitting there and you're like, now Dier, like I've told you before, just give me the ball. Why didn't you do it? No, I can do it, man. It's like, but you can't. He's just one of them idiots where he thinks he can do stuff that he can't do. So there's no point of even trying to play alongside Dier. At least with Sanchez, you can just hang back, cover for his lack of ability to be able to watch the ball coming over the top. And then you just say to him, give me the ball and let me do the pass. And with Dier, like I said, he just thinks he's better than everybody else, so he's a twat.
Yeah. Bob, your answer. Who would you rather play alongside?
Neither can head a ball. Neither got any whereabouts of positioning skills. Neither can pass. But one thing Sanchez has got what Dier hasn't is pace. So if I do ever make a mistake, at least he'll probably run back and give away a penalty or score an own goal. But at least cover me. But the best thing about it, whoever you're partnered with, it make yourself look good. So certainly your transfer fee goes up a bit. So I'd play with either, but Sanchez will be my choice. And like I say, if I put in a performance, it just makes me look like the better defender. So great.
Great answer from all of you. From moving on to the next one. Personally, for me, it's got to be GPS Sanchez as well. Like maybe Danny was saying, I could just tell him to turn left, turn right, turn around, jump. All the like almost like he'd be my Xbox control practically. But moving on to this,
mate, get a controller in the match.
Moving on to the next one here. Would you rather have Lamela's right foot or Sissoko's first touch? Maybe the point of this question. Maybe the point of this question is kind of both don't really exist. They're kind of things that have never actually existed in this world. So it is a bit fantasy. It is a bit hard to maybe imagine. But would you rather have Lamela's right foot ability? Would you rather have Sissoko's first touch? Bob, it seems like you like this one. What do you think?
Lamela's right foot, because we know his left foot's good, and to use his left foot properly, he needs to balance on his Sissoko's first touch.
Smart answer, Bob. Smart answer.
If he needs to use his left foot, he needs a bit of balance on his right foot. So purely reason that's the reason. If he didn't have
for balance
purposes, that's the only reason why. Sissoko, I've never seen him have a first touch of a football. It's always a fucking miscontrol or off his chest or off his arse, off his head, whatever. So the latter doesn't exist. But Lamela's right foot, purely and simply. So he's able to use his left foot.
You can walk with your own two legs. Bob, that's a very smart answer. Very smart answer. Maybe Danny, what do you think? What would you rather have?
Oh, I'd definitely have Coco's right foot. I mean, if you look at it, right, Sissoko's never scored a goal in his life on his left foot. At least Lamela scored, I think, 2 goals for Tottenham in his entire career on his right foot, and that's it. I think I've seen him score 2 goals. So I'd rather have 2 goals than no goals in my whole entire Tottenham career. on my right foot. That's how I put it.
OG Garrett giving the answers to all the extra time. OG Garrett, I really hope that you're enjoying the extra time. I really do hope that you like these. I really do appreciate the generosity and sending in your answers via Super Chat. Really does mean a lot, actually, OG Garrett. And I do hope that you've been enjoying the extra time. David, I'm not sure if I've asked you. Lamela's right foot or Sissoko's first touch? Which one, that doesn't exist? Which one would you rather have?
Look, for me, just purely because it'd be an entertainment factor and I can channel my inner right Keane, because if I take Sissoko's touch, right, it means the ball's breaking, which means 9 times out of 10, it's going to offer me a 50-50 challenge on someone. So I can make up for it by ploughing through them. So for me, I would go with the Sissoko's.
What you'll do, Dave, you'll take a touch.
I know what it's like to have a first touch. I pluck a ball out the air, dead.
I'm tired of it.
Honestly, you put a ball 40 yards up in the air and it's dropping. I'll take it down dead, right? I have a first touch. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like to not have the first touch. Right?
Yeah, honestly, David, that is quite interesting. As well as, David. But here's the thing, David. I might actually be trading places with you here. Whereas, like me growing up, I wasn't the one, who knows what it's like to have a great first touch all the time. I'm actually the one a bit more like a Sissoko, where my first touch is kind of the next touch is me 2-footing the player after my first touch. So to be honest, I would like to trade places, and maybe I'm going to take Bob's answer and take Lamela's ability and, take his right foot for balance purposes, just for walking purposes. And then that's what I'm going to go with. Moving on to the next
I've
one.
I've got a great first touch. Ask my ex.
Moving on to the next one, lads. Would you rather? This is maybe one where it's a bit more, satisfying. This is maybe something you would like to have. This is something you compared to the previous two. Would you rather have Tanguy's Tekers or Højbjerg's Viking strength, or like I like to say, Højbjerg's shoulder? Would you rather have Tanguy's Tekers or Højbjerg's shoulder?
I'll be honest, I'm going to kick this off quickly. I have both, so I do.
Danny, what are you thinking? Højbjerg's strength or Tanguy's Tekers?
I'm kind of with David, mate. I've got a bit of both, mate. I've got a bit of Tekers, and I play. I told you the way I play in midfield. I'm like a Gattuso, mate. I'm like an animal. Like, people used to call me Gattuso. People used to call me Pirlo because the way I could fucking ping a ball. Like, maybe not as good nowadays because I'm unfit as fuck. But man, I've got a bit of both. But if I could choose one of them, I don't know, man. I think it'd probably be the Tekers, Tanguy's Tekers, man, because the guy is another level.
Natural,
he's another level
and ability.
Like I've got the aggression and the strength. So if I could add something to my game even more, it'd probably be Tanguy's Tekers.
Interesting.
Because he's another level, man. That guy can do magic on his foot.
Bob, is it going to be Højbjerg's shoulder, the great Viking shoulder, or is it going to be Tanguy's Tekers?
Well, without sounding like a record, I pretty much got both of them as well. Best right-sided left back ever.
Spin it, Solis. Spin it, Bob.
Yeah, it was. I think I mentioned it a couple of times. But if it came down to it, I'd take Højbjerg's Hart, because God knows I need a fucking strong heart.
Well,
so
better answer. Great answer.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, look,
David,
if you did make me pick, Jack, I'll be honest with you. I'd take Højbjerg's strength. I would. Because I'm one of them people, although I can do it all, I'd rather, fly under the radar like Højbjerg and his work rate. And he wouldn't be in the paper for the Tekers. He wouldn't be in the paper for showing a bit of strength in midfield. It's that unsung hero work, which I like to be, the unsung hero. With Ndombele, he'll be on the front papers after scoring a goal, eating a burger. So, look, I'd rather have Højbjerg's strength, to be honest with you.
See, that's the thing, Dave. That's the thing with me. I've already got that, mate. I am the unsung hero when I play football. So, like,
I'm like with Danny. It's like something you've never had before.
That's me.
The Tekers, like, I don't know what the Tekers would ever be like. I'll never know what it's like in the case of Tanguy. So personally, I just have to answer with I'm going to take Tanguy's Tekers, just because I just don't know what that that power feels like. But I will say with Højbjerg, plenty have even likened Højbjerg's shoulder to that of Thor's hammer. So it is a bit of, like a Norse, kind of, godlike, ability. So I will say, with being Højbjerg's shoulder, it's almost like being a demigod of some sort. So maybe I might say Højbjerg when I think about it. And it's Tony Hall here saying, for me, it's Højbjerg, passionate and heart. Yeah, I think Bob's answer absolutely maybe stunned me there by saying instead of Højbjerg's shoulder, you'd rather have Højbjerg's heart, which honestly, a lot of us could never even hope to achieve. But the last one here, guys, Joe Hart. I was just thinking about this today. He's lost his spot to Alfie Whiteman. Alfie Whiteman has even taken his head and shoulders position, has probably even taken his head and shoulders commercials as well. He's even looking better than with a tan than Joe Hart. His hair is looking better than Joe Hart. Joe Hart, I mean, what a fall from grace. Is he the Benjamin Button of, fall from form? Is he the Benjamin Button of goalkeepers in terms of ability? What do you guys make of this? Man. Like, it's just what a fall from form. Apparently, he's on his way to Celtic and has only been here for practically, a year and a half. Like David is saying, I'm not going to spoil actually what David is going to say, with, Joe Hart leaving and what that means for the dressing room. But, what do you guys make of this, maybe historic fall of Joe Hart?
He's a dustbin man. He's a dustbin. He reminds me of my dustbin man that picks up my rubbish in the mornings when I'm on a Tuesday morning. That's what he reminds me of. So, he looks like him. He's got the hair like him. So for me, I think Celtic will be absolutely good for him.
Has there been any goalkeeper you can think of that, some people are saying Karius, had a similar fall from grace, similar fall from height. I still think Joe's was even bigger, personally.
It's because he was in a championship winning team, right? And then Pep comes in and like, you don't play the way I like with the feet, you're out. And then as soon as that happened, he just went poof, straight downhill. He went to fucking.
Never liked him again.
Yeah. Where did he go? I think that knocked his confidence. To be honest with you, I think that completely changed.
Burnley.
It wasn't Burnley first.
About Joe Hart.
I think he went to Torino.
Torino.
Oh, Italy. Yeah.
He went to Italy.
Torino, wasn't it?
From going from fucking how many clubs would have wanted him from going from fucking Man City a title winning team to fucking Torino, like out of nowhere. And his fall from grace was probably even worse, to be honest.
I think with Joe, he's just summing up his career at the moment. He's going to Celtic, and they've just been knocked out of the Champions League qualifiers. He's actually, his career has actually slid down more even before he signed for him, and they got knocked out the Champions League today. So it just sums him up. I'd put Kepa in there, coming in with a record buy for Chelsea. Not living up to his record fee, and then being replaced by a French goalkeeper, wasn't it? Yeah,
that's a good call.
What Cody said. What Cody said. He goes, Hart. Where is it? Hart was third choice at Burnley. He has a long neck. That's it.
yeah, that's it. So I think Kepa, but I agree with you, Jack. I think Joe Hart's, because he'd won so much at Man City and was such a successful. And what people say is the only reason Pep didn't want him there was because he couldn't kick properly. He didn't like the way he kicked the ball. But Kepa for me would be in that conversation purely.
That's a good shout.
It was a big decline. The not wanting to come off in the final was a bit of a weird one. But yeah, it just sums up Joe Hart's career at the moment. He's about to sign for Celtic and probably looking forward another season in the Champions League, and they've been knocked out.
Yeah, incredible. David, what is the Tottenham dressing room going to be missing with Joe Hart now leaving? What do you make of Joe Hart's, huge fall from grace?
Yeah, look, Premier League winner to cricket organizer. Imagine that. Look, with the guy, for me, the dressing room is going to miss the cricket, the bingo, whatever else Joe Hart organised. Look, all I've heard people say about Joe Hart is he was a good goalkeeper, but he's one of the lads. He's a piss taker. He's the one that organised the nights out. Apparently he organises a good night out. He's the one that organises the cricket and the banter in the dressing room. Look, for me, that's all he was ever brought in to do, was kind of be one of them experienced heads in there and whatever else. And plus, he filled the English quota by bringing him in, so that helped. But look, with him, get him gone. Good riddance. I don't want to see any more videos of these guys playing cricket, especially when we're playing shit. You're playing shit and they're putting out videos of them having a good time playing cricket. Are you fucking mad? Are you mad? Cricket, the worst sport on the planet. Baseball is better than cricket, and that's fucking boring. Cricket, man. Cricket.
I agree.
Jesus Christ. Right? Honestly, I'm so glad he's gone. But look, the Head and Shoulders contract will be up, for grabs. I'm sure we have Alfie Whiteman trying to grab that. Harry Winks, Dele Alli, they'll all be up for that, But look, I'm glad to see him gone. Never a good fit. Yeah. Cares more about, cricket and shit like that than playing football. Get him gone. Good luck. Bye, Joe. Not even saying a thank you. Well, I'm supposed to say thank you for watching a cricket video come out when we're in the midst of playing shit. You want me to say thank you to Joe? No, Joe. Goodbye. And I'm actually raging he's gone to Celtic because they're my second team. They're the team I support in Scotland. That has that Irish connection. I've grew up, loving Celtic, and I'm actually raging he's gone there. It's kind of like this guy's just a thorn in my side. It's just like he's following me around. I'll be honest, I'll be very surprised to see Celtic players play cricket in the dressing room. I'll be very surprised to see that happen. But look, goodbye, Joe. End of. Joe has no heart.
He's following you around, David. He can't stop it, David. He's just going to follow you, David.
Joe has no heart.
He's just going to follow you, David. He's just going to follow you and torment you.
Dave, you should post that on Twitter. Dave Joe has no heart.
Dave no heart.
So hard. Absolutely. But guys, that is everything. That is the end of Kanicki's Answer Me. Again, I do appreciate you guys surviving yet again another episode of these hard-hitting questions as well. Maybe even reacting to what you just saw for the game. It is a bit of a mix, so I do appreciate you guys being able to be that flexible. But yeah, here's the time. I mean, Danny, let me start with you first. Danny, is there any place where we can find you a bit more? We obviously have your Twitter. Everybody, please check out Danny on Twitter down below. But Danny, is there any place where we can maybe find a bit more of you?
You can find me right here, man. You can always find me right here. I'm always a part of the Irish Hotspur family. So I get around. You know me. I like to get around a bit. I'm a bit of a naughty boy. Just get around a lot. But you can always find me here, man. And there's hopefully there's some other things coming. My channel at the moment is on hold just because of personal reasons, work reasons, new job role. It's a lot of time. I mean, I'm working a lot more hours now, so it's difficult. But there's options out there. So there's we'll see what happens. But things are coming anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And then Deadeye Mike here with the super sticker. We do appreciate it, Deadeye Mike. Thank you very much. We do appreciate it. And also, thanks for sticking with us through the whole show as well, Deadeye Mike. You're way, way too kind for it. We really do appreciate you. And as well, Deadeye Mike, we do been liking your comments, at least me personally. I've been liking.
We need 3 more likes to hit 200. Sorry, Jack.
Come on.
No, that's
we need
class.
3 more likes to hit 200, man.
No sweat on that, Danny. That'll come. The Harris Army, we're legends around here, lad. They'll get it done, trust me. Big up, Deadeye Mike. Really do appreciate the support, my man. Absolute legend. Everyone else, why we let Bob plug his channel and why I give you a little bit, and Jack gives you a little bit. Why not throw in a super chat? Show us that you've enjoyed the stream, you appreciate the stream and stuff like that. It's a great way to help support me and Jack on our endeavors and our YouTube journey. But big up and thank you so much for the support, everybody, and especially big up Deadeye Mike for the super sticker, my man. But look, Bobby, where can people find you, lad?
Yeah, Bob Spur TV. I'm doing one show a week at the moment, which is a Saturday night, 10 o'clock. We'll be doing a best ever show. Might do something this weekend. I think we're going to be doing the best ever right back ever and left back ever to play at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I'll be doing votes throughout the week. But yeah, Bob Spur TV. And just before I go, big up to Yaz. By the way, a fantastic up-and-coming chef, does some really good food. And to Tom, Bryce, Jamie, Shamu, Cody, Kurse, Carl, Shane, Mari, Ishak, Tony, Dan, and Tommy, piss off.
Any more names, Bob?
No, that's it for now, mate.
Bob, what did you want to say to Cody Mack? What did you want to say to Cody Mack?
Piss off, Cody. Deadeye Mike again with another super sticker. Absolute legend, man. Really, really do appreciate that, man. You're way too kind. Thank you so much, man. You're an absolute legend, and it's good to see you. I haven't seen your name in around here before, so it's good to see you. And I hope you're subscribing, man. I hope you enjoy the content. Look, look, I'm gonna hand you over to Jack. Let Jack tell you what's coming up and stuff like that. Absolute legend, guys. Before I do, I want you to put in the comments. I want you to thank Bob. I want you to thank Danny, and especially Jack, who puts all the work in for this show. He provides the questions. We just turn up and answer them, but Jack prepares everything for this show. So especially Jack. But please get in there and show your appreciation for the three boys. But Jack, you want to let them know what your plans are?
Yeah, David, they can, if anybody enjoyed maybe, some of these questions, if anybody enjoyed anything that I had to say, or if anybody enjoyed even the Irish Hotspur here, if you're new, please keep your head up, keep your head on a swivel. I have actually my own channel coming out. That's going to be an extension of David's channel here. It's going to be called Flat Cap Euro Talk. It's going to be a channel where basically when it comes to a lot of the European kind of news, even we've been looking at Fabrizio Romano's, Twitter notifications, a lot of it is a lot of player news and stuff with players we probably don't really care about, but maybe it's just a channel like that where you can actually get a bit of information on certain games, news, Euro news, whatever topics that are happening outside of Spurs. That would be the place for you to go. And it's going to be called Flat Cap Euro Talk. Pretty much a place for me to nerd out about whatever players there are, about whatever games there are that are going to be happening. It's going to be your place. So to be honest, you can't miss it really. And as well, if you need somebody to watch the El Clasico with, if you need somebody to rant about a random player from Ukraine with, it's the place to go. And it's going to be a channel that you're going to keep your head out for So please, please, please check it out. It's going to be called Flat Cap Euro Talk. You can as well check it out on Twitter. You can follow me there. But yeah, keep your head on a swivel for it.
I can't wait, Jack. I can't wait for that, man.
That sounds wicked.
Yeah, look, and what the most part I love is Jack nerding out, because he definitely is going to be nerding out, guys. Honestly, this guy's a freak for European football. He's the best in the business. So you're everything European you want to know, from watch-alongs for Champions League when Spurs aren't there, to everything you need to know what's happening around Europe. Good players, young players, everything. Players that Spurs are linked with. Jack's your guy. He's honestly your guy. So when that second channel does drop, like I said, I'm heavily involved in it too. It's mine and Jack's channel. It's a second channel. I really would love the same support on that channel that you guys are showing me here. But don't worry, content here ain't slowing down. In fact, we're ramping it up here too. We're bringing you a lot of new shows. I'm not dropping them until the season starts, but we're bringing you a lot. We're going with 2 channels and ramping up the content. I'm going to give you guys some some short and snappy content as well. I know some of you don't like tuning in for the 2-hour shows and whatever else. So there's a lot more to come. Look, I'm not sure what's coming up the rest of this week. I'll be honest with you. I've been busy behind the scenes planning and everything else. So look, I'm not sure whether I'll be back tomorrow with something. I should be. I'm expecting news tomorrow, maybe on transfers. That'd be nice, so we can stream about that, whatever else. But look, don't worry, we'll be back Saturday with an absolute cracker for you guys. We'll definitely have something lined up. But guys, I want to say a massive thank you to you. Jack, for putting all the effort in that you do for this show. That really creates this show. It's become a big favorite. You're an absolute legend. I want to say thank you. Since you've come on board the channel, it's really gone to new heights. I want to say a massive thank you to Bob and Danny for turning up the way they do for this show, sitting through the 2 hours they do with us. But look, it's worth it, because you guys, the Harris Army out there, you really enjoy it. And I want to say a massive thank you to you for tuning in, for the way you support us with the super chats. Everybody, a massive thank you. And this army is only going to grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And look, I think it's been an absolute fantastic show. Thank you, everybody, for today. Everybody all around. Spurs are fucking back, baby. Look, things are not as pessimistic as I thought. We have Skipp coming in. We can get Ndombele fit. We be balling through the middle. Just all we have to do is get defenders, and we're lit this season. As always, come on, you Spurs. And in Nuno we trust. Let's fucking
come
go.
on, Spurs.
Levy out.
Nuno we trust. Levy out.
Piss off, Danny. My bad. We have a soup chat from Emily Dunn. Love the show, guys. Supporting the Irish Hotspur. Absolutely, really appreciate that. That's so kind, Emily. Thank you so much. Another channel regular who does tune in. What an absolute legend. This time I am out, guys. Sorry about that. But look, who doesn't want more of the Irish Hotspur? See you tomorrow, guys. Stop, Danny.